I have water. I got water. My voice is still today. Good morning, chat. Good, good morning. Also, Kuhitsugi. Oh my goodness, I can't. How did I say your name right? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in early, and Alex, thank you for chatting for the first time, very, very early before I even started stream. Welcome. I changed my mind today. Shut up. I'm supposed to play Octopath Traveler 2, but some videos on YouTube piqued my interest and I wanted to watch them with chat today. So I changed my mind. Forgive me, please. You'll forgive me, right? Right? I have to be forgiven. It's Holy Sunday. Christian chat only. Hi, hello, welcome in, Alex. You can just say Ku. Oh, perfect. Ku. Some people call me Aku, and it pisses me off. But I will remember that. Ku, okay. ASMR Arsonist. Honestly, that's a really cool name. Hi, welcome. Did you guys do your check-ins? I gotta go through check-ins. Today we're gonna be watching videos related to mental health. The reason why it piqued my interest was because one of my favorite podcasts is what is it called? The Diary of a CEO. He got to interview one of my other favorite mental health people that I enjoy watching on YouTube. With it's the GG Healthy Gamer. Is that his name? Or is it, did I say it backwards? It's like Healthy Gamer GG, I think. I think I said it backwards. So it reminded me like, oh, I need to catch up on Healthy Gamer's videos. And so I have a small little backlog of videos for us to watch today. I'm like, oh shit, I have a backlog. Na, 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 na. Sure, I guess. Nair hates me. Na, 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 na. Let me go through. Yeah, Healthy Gamer GG. I said it backwards. I'm so funny. Not me saying GG. Drink up, girly. Thank you. I don't know what it is. Ever since I came back from TwitchCon, my allergies fucking suck. Oh. I drink water. Oh, I know this guy. Dude, I love Healthy Gamer. I love his content. I love watching him in any interview podcast that he's featured in. He is just great. I love learning from him. He has a great way with talking and communicating with his audience. Like he really knows his audience. And it's nice to hear him use very interesting language for his audience. Cause he's actually a professional at what he does, but he tries to speak on a very, what is it? He likes to put himself on the same what like not playing field. What am I trying to say? The same like wavelength? I don't know how to fucking say it right now. My brain's not working. He just speaks to his audience in a very specific way that's comforting. I'm like, wow, he's trying to be very relatable and comforting. We love Dr. K. Hello, Mirai. Water? Are you drinking water, Sean? Thank you for chatting for the first time, Sean. Welcome. Is he always healthy or is he sometimes under the weather? Well, part of his back lore is that he used to be a very unhealthy, degenerate gamer. I'm pretty sure his name derived from his very tragic backstory lore. And everything that he's done in his life has built him to where he is now. So he does everything related to mental health. I'm just like, wow. If he can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, Chat can do it. He doesn't talk up or down to them. He is very great. I've even tuned into some of his live streams, aka his like live podcasts that he'll have. And he is very great at what he does. Very, very great. He's a little boomer and it's wonderful. It's hilarious actually. I love when he has technical difficulties. Let's see, let me go through my queue. You guys did your check-ins, right? Is everyone gonna be good today? Let's see. Wow. Let me drink more water before my voice fucking cracks. Hold on. Oh, I have hiccups, please. Also, Q, thank you for the hydration again earlier. I'll drink more water right now. Let's see. He played Dota? I wouldn't have discovered Meow without Duologue, so I'm from the Yu-Gi-Oh crowd and just stumbled on into here. Alright, who in chat plays Yu-Gi-Oh? Reveal it right now. Funny enough, a good chunk of my chat also plays Yu-Gi-Oh, unfortunately. I'm not even a Yu-Gi-Oh streamer, but here they are. Right, some of you bitches found me through the so-called duologues, even before Glitch Stars even happened. Me? Yes, reveal yourself. Who are the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh gamers? Disgusting. So gross. But here I am with like Yu-Gi-Oh cards on my fucking desk because they're leftover cards from TwitchCon, and then I have the cards that Nair fucking gave me. Nair, how could you do this to me? I have fuck, how do I say it? Madolce, and then Melfi puppy. I'm gross, absolutely. I play Duel Masters. Me? Does that count? I used to back in 05. Disgusting. Me? Oh my goodness. I just assume everyone in chat plays Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, you guys are so gross. Madouche. Madolce? Am I saying that right? Yu-Gi-Oh hasn't been good since 5Ds. What the hell's that? 5DS. What is 5DS? 5Ds. I don't know how to say it, guys. I'm uncultured. Hello, bunny. I wouldn't have discovered you without Mr. Logs. Didn't mean to derail everything, by the way. Oh no, it's fine. I will personally derail the conversation because that's just how I work. You're fine. If anything in a conversation goes one way and completely goes another way, it's no one's fault except me. I'm the idiot. You're fine. Wow. Chat is a reflection of the streamer. Well, if you guys are a reflection of the streamer, how do you guys see yourself, huh? That's the real question. Don't worry, I'm here for cat streamer, not Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, shucks, thank you. Someone that has good taste. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Miss Meowie. Hello, Brad. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Oh, yeah. Happy Sunday to everyone. If not Monday, if it is Monday for you. I changed my mind. Today is not Octopath Day. Today, we're going to be watching things related to ADHD and women, bullying amongst women. I believe that's one of the videos. And then the truth about therapy and gaslighting yourself. Today seems like a fun day to learn about mental health stuff. Okay. Yes, Zach. No, stop. I think an honest response would get me banned. Oh, you can get banned for a lot of things here. I think. Right, mods? Take your shot. I only go on Yu-Gi-Oh! From time to time, but have no clue how it works. I'm so proud of you, Joy. Ew, Yu-Gi-Oh! Me too, classy. Let's see. Scrolling through 5Ds, that's right. Is that how you actually say it? I played Yu-Gi-Oh! When it was good. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5... Is it 5DS? 5Ds? Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexel? Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V? Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains? Why is there so many Yu-Gi-Ohs? I found Meowie through Minnie. I love Minnie. Minnie is one of my wives. As D-Gens? You guys are D-Gens? That is very true. Wait, you're calling me D-Gen? That's fine. Also, Zach, thank you so much for the 300 bitties. My reflection seems to have shorter ears. Are you actually not a bunny then? Are you a cat? Wait, she actually got the majority of them? Did I pronounce them right? Oh no. Say it ain't so. I found Minnie through Meowie, as you should. Minnie deserves the world. Okay, let me actually go through check-ins before I forget. Okay. Why is there 27 check-ins? I'm scared. Okay, wait. Vin, congrats on being first today. I'm so proud of him. You're fucking gaming. I love him. Look at him getting first. I'm so proud. He worked so hard for that. So flawless. He's so valid and hot for that. All right, let me go through check-ins. Let me drink one more sip of water. Hold on. Vin, thank you for checking in. AJ, thank you for checking in. Gex, thank you for checking in. Bis, thank you for checking in. Luz, thank you for checking in. Leia, thank you for checking in. Floodin, thank you for checking in. Vassandra, thank you for checking in. Elster, thank you for checking in. Jacket, thank you for checking in. River Mod, thank you for checking in. Garabelle, thank you for checking in. Ray Wifey, thank you for checking in. Random Gremlin, thank you for checking in. Alex, thank you for checking in. Magic Johnson, thank you for checking in. Gamer Paul, thank you for checking in. ASMR, Son is fuck. Thank you for checking in. Throw for fun, thank you for checking in. Rest, thank you for checking in. Mirai, thank you for checking in. Classy, thank you for checking in. And Jetty, thank you for checking in. Hopeless, thank you for checking in. Brad, thank you for checking in. Star, thank you for checking in. And Sean, thank you for checking in. And Coot, thank you for checking in. Dude, ASMR Sinus. That one fucked me up. I lost a lot of breath trying to figure out how to say your name in the moment. Man. It hurts. It hurts so much. You fucking hate me, Badlands. Badlands, thank you so much for checking in. Late. Okay. Alright. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Alright. Okay. Are you done, Badlands? Oh, my nose itches. Damn, I'm impressed. I heard, there's some sort of, like, vocal warm-up that almost is similar to how I do my check-ins. I don't know what the warm-up is called, but you have to do it in like one huge swift breath, and it's just very consistent. I don't know what the vocal warm-up is called or what it's supposed to do, or if it's just for like breath control or just control in general, but I'm like, I think I would do very well with that vocal warm-up if I ever figured out the name of it. It's a very good username. It is. It just fucks up my brain because I'm like ASMR Sinist. ASMR Sinist. It's a very, very great name. Even got all the caps in there for the ASMR. You killed it, thank you. I think this is catgirl abuse. What? Doing check-ins. I've been down this road many times. I'm used to it. It hurts every time though. Let's see. My taxpayers, let's see. Adric, Biss, Lewis, Zach, Lay, Dragon, Revere Mod, Garabelle, Magic Johnson, Gamer Paul, and Jenny Eater, Mirai, Hopeless, Brad, Koo, and Badlands. Thank you for paying your taxes. Am I free? Wait, no. God damn it, Lay, are you still there? Lay, do you still want your waste your points? Do you it paging Lay? Oh, lame. Oh, there you are. No, I'm not here. Okay. Lay! Thank you so much for wasting your points on absolutely nothing. You dirty little bug. You idiot. You're there. I see you. Latios, thank you for checking in. Okay. I'm done. That's the Bakemonogatari tongue twister. Found this online. Imagine an imaginary what? Menagerie? Menagerie manager imagining managing an imaginary menagerie? Menagerie? What is that word? Menagerie? Did I say that word right? I'm pretty sure I could do that tongue twister. You guys wanna see a very cool party trick? Did I do this party trick on stream? Did I do it here or did I do it on someone else's stream? The Peter Piper tongue twister? I'm pretty sure I've done it here. Menongerie. Menongerie. Okay, wait, let me scroll back up to that tongue twister. Wait. Imagine an imaginary fuck, how do you say it? Menongerie? I forgot to say it. Menongerie. Imagine an imaginary menongerie manager imagining managing. Imagining managing. Ooh, that part's hard. Imagining managing fucks me up. Okay, wait. Imagine an imaginary I forgot how to say the word. Menongerie? Menagerie? Menogeny. I don't want to do this anymore. I can do the Peter Piper one. You guys, we're never gonna watch about mental health if all we're doing is tongue twisters. Never mind, thank you for checking in. I could do the Peter Piper. You guys ready to get piped? I mean, Peter piped. Wow, thank you for watering me. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Ta-da! You gave up so quick? What? Finally, my time has come. I mean, hi. Menagerie. Genuinely impressive. I memorized that when I was in elementary school. Can you believe that? I know. I had to recite it in elementary school. And then it kind of stuck for the rest of my life, so I don't know what to do with this skill. I genuinely don't. Say it Frenchier? What's Frenchier? Another half fucker axe situation? No, we're not going through that again. You guys were supposed to be doing mental health videos with Healthy Gamer GG. Let's see. I can let you guys pick which video you guys wanted to watch first. Let's see. So, one of them is why female bullying is so hard to recognize. The next one is how ADHD is different for women. Another one is the truth about therapy and gaslighting yourself. And then the last one is, ooh, how do I say that word? Dysthymia steals your happiness. How do I say this? Dysthymia? 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 That's the fourth video. Oh my god, are we are we still trying to pronounce the men word? Menagerie? Re? Menagerie. Re. I swear I took my ADHD meds today, but I feel like they don't work. Fel, thank you for checking in. Welcome, happy Sunday. It's very easy to recognize streamer bullying chat. Oh, absolutely. They love doing this to me. Isn't that right? Man. Give it a instead of wait, give it a instead of a what? It's why can't I make the right noises? We're gonna get stuck doing this if I don't fucking start playing a video. Let's see. Oh, did someone make a poll? Oh, you guys are so nice. Let's see. They're all roughly half an hour. Let's see. One of them's 36 minutes, another one's 28, another one's 4. Ooh, like 39 minutes. Yeah. And then the other one's like 24 minutes. These are pretty long videos. Damn, you guys don't care about women? That's crazy. Everyone's like, yeah, tell us about therapy and gaslighting. Fuck the women videos. There are literally 2 videos that are specifically about women. Everyone's like, no, we don't care about the women ones. Dian Turkile? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Hello, senpai. You may now praise me. Yeah. Of course the woman would say that. Sigma D's. Not the Tate. Ew. Don't you Tate in my chat. You can watch them on your own time, but that's no fun when I wanted chat to learn about women too. Okay. Aren't women a mystery to a lot of men? Think about it. Think about it. It's educational. Okay? How dare you spray me, Nair? Nair hates me. You know, I've had this popcorn acid on for the longest time, and I think it's still relevant. How to trigger a woman? Oh, that's very easy. I feel like, actually, that's a very good question. Do you guys think women get triggered more easily or men? Depending on who you ask. There's a lot of different answers for this. Hey! Wow, wow, wow. My ears! Probably men. Oh, that's interesting. How do you guys know when a man gets triggered, though? That's the real question. Aren't some guys really good at hiding that they're triggered? Or is that part of, like, masking or some sort of manipulation? Say anything mean and men go boo-hoo, but you can also apply that to women, right? I hide my emotions. Oh, a lot of people hide their emotions. Hey, yo, hop on Fluffy Town. Shut up. Oh my god, not my cat gotcha addiction. Also, thank you to anyone that joined the Fluffy Town Guild. You guys are real for that. So funny. I'm actually not on Fluffy Town. I am stream right now, streamer. You know who's the most easily triggered? It's not men or women, it's League of Legends players. You know? That's pretty valid. That's pretty valid. Water, thank you for the hydration. Thank you, thank you. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Thank you for the hydration, Jade. Sir Frank, thank you for checking in. Welcome. Oh, where's my... Let's see. Let me start moving stuff around on my monitors to set up for the watch along. Okay, the poll is still up, but it's almost done. Oh, it's a tie between the female bullying one and truth for therapy plus gaslighting. Someone break the tiebreaker. Let's see. Oh my god, if you guys join Fluffy Town, it will make me so happy. I gaslight myself into believing that I'm always treated fairly no matter what. That's bad. Isn't that technically part of, like, people pleasing? Isn't that some form of, like, people pleasing? Like, it's like you're lying to yourself, right? From person to person, it's individual. That is very true. Went to my first casino yesterday and won. I'm so proud of you. How much did you get? Was it at least 100 buckaroos? 100 doll hairs? I don't necessarily do things for people. Ooh, interesting. In descending order, therapy and gaslighting, female bullying, ADHD for women, and dysthymia. I don't know how to say it. I went in with $10 and came out with 54. Hey, you checked out, right? Like officially checked out. You said no more. Put my 10 in. I'm in the plus. I leave. I have dyslexia. I feel you, man. Let's see. Let me get the video up. So everyone wants the truth about therapy and gaslighting yourself. So funny enough, this video is the shortest one out of all the videos. This one is actually 24 minutes. I know, so surprising. This one is genuinely the shortest one. Okay, let me... Okay, let's go to the next screen. Hold up. Wow, I'm trying to rearrange everything on my PC. Life's hard. Okay, let's go to the other screen. Oh. The arm immersion. Alright. Is everyone here? Chat roll call. You may now speak, please. Okay, let me move chat right here. Move my OBS over here. Shut up. Okay. I don't know how loud this will be for you guys. So this is the truth about therapy and gaslighting yourself.
The real gaslighting is your parents telling you that the only way for me to be happy is for you to achieve. The real gaslighting is, oh, you made a mistake. How could you be so stupid? Of course you made a mistake. You're learning. So a lot of people think that therapy is just gaslighting yourself. right? And this is a perspective that I tend to hear more and more, which is kind of like, okay, I have this life. Things are objectively challenging with your life, right? Like, so you may be behind in life, you have difficulty dating, you're still living at home if you're in your
Sounds
20s, which,
good.
by the way,
Perfect.
50% of
Okay.
people are doing. So a lot of times people will look at their lives and they'll say to themselves, my life is objectively bad. And if I go to therapy,
This
is
is
that just
everyone in
going to
chat.
be me gaslighting? Is the therapist going to gaslight me into believing that my life is better? Is it actually a distortion from reality? They're like, yeah, like you're so great, like you're an amazing human being, and like you can do anything that you put your mind to, man. Like you believe in yourself. But you look at your life and you're like, I don't have a reason to believe in myself, right? They're the people who believe in themselves, and the
Why is this
reason they
so
believe in themselves
relatable?
is because they actually accomplish stuff. But I don't actually accomplish things, right?
Ooh.
I've failed out of college. I procrastinate way more than I should. I play
Ooh.
too many video games. I watch too much pornography. All of these like
Ooh.
ideas of
Not
believing
the
in
big
yourself feel like
P.
complete BS. And then there's all this stuff like acceptance, right? Oh, in therapy, like I learned to accept my flaws. But it's like, I don't want to accept my flaws. I want to change them, right? I don't want to be
Okay.
this way. So
All
people get
right.
kind of confused and they ask themselves, okay, is therapy basically gaslighting myself? I don't need to go to therapy. I need to actually fix my life. And so this is the core problem of therapy. Is like we have all of these experiences, we have some of these beliefs, we have
That's
some of these
interesting.
facts, and I don't understand how talking about my problems actually helps me fix them. And if
Wait, I have a question then. For people, for people that have considered therapy and still haven't gone, or maybe you've been to therapy, you've gone to therapy before. Is this a very common mindset to have if you're kind of skeptical about therapy? You know, I never thought about the whole gaslighting myself. So a lot of you guys know that I am still currently in therapy, and honestly, I think I'm in a pretty comfortable place with myself where I can technically stop going to therapy, but I choose to still go cuz I do enjoy talking about, you know, random like intrusive thoughts or like emotions or just anything that comes up in like my day-to-day life, and I think it's really useful to talk to my therapist about anything and everything. It just helps a lot to talk to someone outside of, you know, a friend group or something. It's always insightful and it's always reassuring in its own way. Da 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 da. Stuck in denial forever. I'ma thug it out. Oh no. I have a problem memorizing things, not gonna lie. And it's because of depression. Oh no. I felt that. My flaws are perfectly fine. Wow, we love that positivity. I went to therapy one time and the therapist said there was nothing wrong with me and I didn't need therapy, so I gave up. What the fuck? There is no way. Okay. Here's another thing too. Not all therapists are gonna be good therapists. Not all therapists are equal. So if you have a therapist that you don't relate to, leave, 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 leave and find a new one. Because that one therapist is going to ruin your view of therapy in general. Don't stick with a therapist that doesn't connect with you. Mm-hmm. Talking to friends and family and streamers is my therapy now. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. I've never considered therapy because I understand I can never be vulnerable enough to let my guard down. Also because it's hella expensive. Okay, see, I understand the money thing, but that's also the whole like never being vulnerable enough. That's also something that can be worked on in therapy. Even if you admit that to your therapist, that's something that can be worked around too. Over time, of course. Mm-hmm. I think genuinely everyone should take time in therapy. I do too. But I also firmly believe that you shouldn't just go into therapy just to try it. You have to be ready. You can't just go into therapy thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have everything's gonna be fixed just because I go in. No, you have to put in the hard work. And I will say, someone that's put in a lot of hard work, it fucking sucks. I'm gonna be honest, it fucking sucks to go through therapy and to actually have to work on the really dark and really scary parts of your mind. because it's something that's so familiar to you and you almost don't want to fight against it because it's always been there. It's very difficult, for sure.
If I go to therapy, you're going to have some compassionate, like believe in yourself kind of therapist, right? Who's going to try to convince me that I'm a decent human being. But like, I don't want to be a decent human being. I don't want to just believe I'm a decent human being. I want to actually accomplish stuff so that I can have a good reason to have faith in myself. So it turns out that therapy is not gaslighting yourself. In fact, it is the exact opposite. Because all of the not all, but many of the negative beliefs that you have about yourself are actually the gaslighting. Now, you may say to yourself, Dr. K, you don't know my life. I suck at life. And like, there's all these objective reasons. I've never been on a date. I'm a virgin. Like, this is true. This is not me gaslighting. This is truth. It is truth. It is not me gaslighting. So that turns out to be somewhat correct. And this is where the subtle nuance of therapy actually comes in. So I want y'all to understand why, even if you failed up until this point, it is you who are doing the gaslighting. So let me explain, okay? I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy.
My therapist helped me find that out too.
If you're interested in applying some of the principles.
Oh God, it's an ad, but him mentioning that it just like awakened a memory from me and my therapist, because I remember I was talking about something I didn't like about myself. And then I don't remember how my therapist made me realize this, but she started asking me like, where did you get that idea from? And I had to think about it, and I'm like, myself? I'm like, society? And she basically just told me all of these negative thoughts that I have about myself or how I view myself, they don't exist. They really don't. It's just something that I'm putting on myself. It's literally all me that's doing that. And I'm like, what? So you're telling me I can be the sexiest bitch in this world? Like, I remember being like, wait, so I'm not useless? I'm not bad at things? I'm not an idiot? I'm fine the way I am? And she's like, yeah, you're perfectly fine the way you are. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, wait, you're a genius. Therapy was like super hardcore for me. She digged up stuff I never thought are problems or related to my problems. Me too. She literally opened up so many different doors and made me realize, wait, so this is where this came from and this is where that came from? That's crazy. And this leads to that, and that moment led to this, and that's why I think about that and view this. That's wild. I'm not a doctor or a lawyer. I'm not poor. Okay, that's fucking different. Okay, we're talking about, listen, we are talking about mental health. not your we are not talking about physical money, okay, your finances. We are talking specifically about mental health. You're fine just the way you are. I learned that from Persona 4. Oh, I heard Persona 4 is really good.
Principles that we discuss
You
to
are not
your life
worthless,
to actually create
Mirai.
change, check out Dr. K's Guide to Mental Health. The guide
Oh my
synthesized
God,
my years of training
it's
as
an
a
ad
monk,
for
along
himself.
with years of clinical experience as a psychiatrist.
I don't want to
to
skip
cover
his
common
ads
topics like meditation,
because he's
ADHD,
fire,
and
you
trauma.
guys.
The guides include over 100 additional
Does this
videos
mean
that can be
you
navigated
can read
based on your
minds?
needs
No.
or interests,
No, you
or
fuck.
in a more open,
What?
choose-your-own-adventure format. The guides are now available in the YouTube store below, and if they're a little bit outside of your price point, you can check out a piece of them.
I'm
with
on
our
his
free
mailing
resource
list too.
packs, which are also linked below. So
Yay!
definitely check
That's
them
so
out. So we have
awesome.
to start by understanding what a normal human being is, right? This may not be
What's normal, guys?
Sorry. Such a dick thing to say. Really, though, I say this as someone who's not a normal human being. I sucked at life. You know, I was a virgin for a really long time, whatever. Okay, so I'm one of y'all. Okay.
Yo, shout out to the virgins in chat.
So let's start by understanding like what a normal human being is. So if we take a child,
Shout out
a
to the
child
normal
has
people.
confidence. A child believes in themselves.
I couldn't be either
Confidence and
of them.
belief in yourself is actually the natural human state, right? So if we really look at it, when does a child lose faith in themselves? And this is where we tend to think that, okay, so
Really early
I
in
lose
life
faith in myself because I'm
my
a failure.
parents
That is
hated
incorrect.
me.
It is
Okay, no, they didn't hate
objectively
me.
incorrect. I'll give you all a very simple example. So a child needs to learn how to walk, right? And so they get up and they try to walk and they fall. And then they try again and they fall. And they try again and they fall. And they fall and they fall and they fall and they fall and they fall.
Okay.
Despite the fact that a child fails over and over and over and over again, they don't feel like a failure. A child feeling like a failure is something that they are taught. So now if we really tunnel down.
You guys, we've all been taught that we're failures. So if any of us think that we're failures, we've literally have been taught this at a really young fucking age. AKA, it's not fucking real. We've just been taught this. It's been engraved in us. Oh my fucking God.
Into it. The people who believe that they're fundamentally broken, this
I don't
is
think
not
I'm a
something
failure.
that they do
Shut up.
because they fail. It is something that they were taught which causes them to fail. So you have a parent, for example, where nothing you ever do is good enough. So I sometimes have, do therapy with Asian kids. And therapy with Asian
not
kids
the
is
Asians.
brutal because
Me too.
no amount of accomplishment is ever enough, right? They're
Who in here in chat? Okay, no, maybe I shouldn't ask who's Asian. Because I'm Asian, but like, we all talk about Asian parenting, and that shit's rough. That shit's rough. Okay, not me asking you, who here's Asian? Okay, I'm Asian, you guys. It's fine, right? If I ask my chat, like, okay, who here is Asian? I'm just like, wait, it's relatable though. I understand.
like, oh, like, you got an A on the test. You should get, why didn't you get A plus? You got 98. Why didn't you get 100? One of the most devastating things I've ever heard from a patient is one patient once told me, when I get an 89 on a test, why is it that no one looks at the 89 questions I got right and instead focuses on the 11 questions I got wrong? Why is the world like this? So the negative beliefs that we have about ourselves are actually things that are taught. This is the gaslighting. Right? So if you grew up in a household where, things were abusive or your parents were neglectful or your parents don't know how to be happy, so they want to live through you, they're not happy in their own lives. So they put all of the pressure onto you.
That's true.
I am unhappy. Therefore, if you screw up, then everything comes out. Right? So this is crazy. But I was talking to someone recently who was telling me that the biggest challenge I have is my parents don't know how to be happy, and it becomes my responsibility. Now, whether I get married on time, whether I get the right profession, whether I have kids, all of these things, my parents' happiness is dependent on me. This
is a very common fucking problem. And I think this is why a lot of people, I think this is one of the biggest reasons why I really pushed to go into therapy finally, because I looked at myself and I was like, if I can never be happy with myself, that's going to reflect with the kind of parent I would be on my kids one day. And I literally told myself, I refuse to have a kid one day if I can't make myself happy, if I'm never happy with myself, because I don't ever want to put that on my kid, ever. Because my problems are my problems, and I would never want them to feel like they can't be themselves, they can't make mistakes, they can be happy for whatever they want to be happy for. So there's so many people that have kids without realizing, oh my God, I have so much I need to work on deep down. Because it does reflect in your parenting, and it creates like a generational the trauma that gets passed on. It's so crazy. I'm like, I'm going to therapy because I would never want to put that upon like my kids if I would ever have kids down the road. I'm like, no, that would be awful. They don't deserve that. They deserve like a healthy parent, a parent that can take better care of their mental health and all of that and everything. But this is a very common problem. Fight back with violence. Okay, maybe not full violence. Life is full of wonder and whimsy. Show them this VOD in the future. I did this for you, kids. Dude, I can't wait to tell my kids one day, hey, back in my day, I was a VTuber, bro.
Kind of stuff leads to gaslighting. This is the real gaslighting. The real gaslighting is your parents telling you that the only way for me to be happy is for you to achieve. The real gaslighting is, oh, you made a mistake. How could you be so stupid? Of course you made a mistake. You're learning. And when people learn, they make mistakes. But if you exist today and you think to yourself, oh my God, I should be perfect at everything I do. If you look around at the people around you, say, oh my God, that person is so great at dancing. This person is so great at surfing. Look at how in shape that person is. This person is so good at socializing. And you look at yourself and you say, I am worse. I am bad. If you make a self-based judgment about your character or your brokenness as a human being because you look at other people and you say they're good and I'm bad, that's the gaslighting. What's the difference between them and you? The difference is not that one is bad and one is good. It's that one person was gaslit to not believe in themselves, whereas someone else was supported in their endeavors. So you'll see this a lot where like musicians have kids who are also really great musicians. Oh my God, talent, it must run in the family, nah? Look at how genetics are so good. There could be a genetic component, but it turns out that the parents that you grow up with instill certain kinds of skills in you. They instill even things like a worldview, right?
Yeah.
And so the real advantage of therapy is not that you gaslight yourself. It is that you undo all of the gaslighting that has been done so far. And this is the crazy thing, because if we look at the outcomes from therapy, what we begin to realize is that our attitudes, our perceptions, all of these things actually determine our outcomes. So when I perceive that I'm not very good at a subject, how do I feel and how do I respond?
I fucking suck at
So in
math.
some of the patients that I've worked
It
with,
makes me
unfortunately,
angry.
when they feel like they're not good at something, they have been taught, right? This is crazy. They have been taught that no amount of effort will make a difference. This is why they're lazy. It's because when they were very young, they tried really hard and then they could never make their parents happy. So if you can never make your parents happy, what do you learn about the value of effort? You begin to realize that, oh, effort is a waste of my time because nothing I ever do will be enough. And if you are someone who's looking at your life and
This shit's crazy. I feel like I'm going through a roller coaster of just memories and emotions listening to this talk. I'm like, wait. Wait. Am I getting triggered? Oh my God. This shit's crazy. When he does the Indian accent, oh, it's so good, Devoid. It's so great. Save your VODs and play them for your kids. They're gonna cringe and be like, oh my God, that's mom. That's wild. I can do anything. I just choose to play games and spend time with cool streamers and chat. And there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. They tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. This guy is personally attacking me and I feel uncomfortable. And that's the joy when it comes to educational mental health videos. If you feel personally attacked in any way, listening and learning to anything related to mental health, that's a good thing. Because this is something that you also go through in therapy.
and you say to yourself, oh my God, I'm
And
so
it's
far behind.
free today.
Nothing I ever do will be enough. Well, hold on a second. Think about how illogical that is. Nothing I ever do. If you put forth 1,000 hours of work, that won't be enough. Like, that's crazy. If you put 10,000 hours of work, 20,000 hours of work, 30,000 hours of work, that won't be enough. That is crazy. This is how you've already been gaslit. So the value of therapy is in undoing all of the gaslighting that has been done so far. Now, a lot of people will say, but objectively, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem. And I don't disagree with that, right? So your life may objectively be challenging. But the question is, why? What is it that contributed to your life being challenging? If you're someone who's, let's say, 28 years old
Being
and
a
you've never
woman.
been in a romantic relationship, you look at yourself
This
and
is
you
someone in
blame
chat.
yourself. But then the question becomes, how does a 28-year-old, what's the difference between a 28-year-old who has a relationship and a 28-year-old who's never been in a relationship? Well, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with their parents. Maybe that one person's parents are divorced and one person's parents aren't. Maybe it has something to do with the way that they were socialized. Maybe it has something to do
I
with the way
love
that their
desk
birthday
clap.
parties were organized. So it's crazy. One of the best questions that I'll ask people if I'm trying to assess, okay, how much was this patient neglected? If I'm trying to figure that out, I'll ask one really simple question. Did your parents throw birthday parties for you? Did your parents make sure you had friends? Did your parents talk to you about your friends? Did your parents
Oh,
notice if you had these kinds of problems? Did they intervene to try to help you move in the right direction? Because the crazy thing is that self-esteem is a reflection of the esteem that other people give you. That's where self-esteem comes from.
oh.
That's why it's so hard to gain self-esteem. Because we have this real scam where we call it self-esteem because we think it comes from us. Self-esteem is taught, not discovered. It's crazy. Like, I know, like, oh, I'm Alok and I'm meditator and I will meditate. And if you find meditation, you will find that there is self-esteem deep within you. All that stuff is true. I'm not saying it isn't true, but I'm saying that for 95% of people, right? If we're looking at normal human beings who don't spend months like meditating in the Himalayas, right? That's where I found some of my self-esteem. But most of us don't have that. What's the difference between the normal people who have self-esteem and the normal people who don't have self-esteem? It's something that was taught. The kids that were supported, the kids that were loved, the kids that were, when they failed, they were taught that you can work hard, and if you work hard and I will help you and you're not alone, then they develop self-esteem. So therapy is not about gaslighting yourself. It
Dude,
is
this
about
shit's
undoing the gaslighting.
crazy.
So then the question kind of becomes, all right, well, so what is the normal state of mind? How do I know if my mind is healthy? How can I separate out between, okay, what is a real belief and what is a fake belief? Where does gaslighting end and where does gaslighting begin? You know, it's kind of like people will ask me that.
It's crazy how bad parenting ruins you so bad. You need to work years of therapy to undo it. Yeah, I firmly believe that people should really think about when they're gonna have kids and like when's the right time for them, because genuinely the first couple of years really do matter. Kids are genuinely sponges and they absorb everything. And I mean everything, even before they can even properly talk and walk. It's so important. It's even to the point where like when the baby is still growing in the womb and everything, all of that matters. Because if the pregnant woman is going through certain emotions or just anything is in like a bad environment, that can also affect the baby. It's crazy. It all starts so early, very, very early, but it's always going to be our responsibility to take care of our own mental health. Like, it does suck when you have to realize, like, oh, I went through a bunch of shitty stuff. Do I like thinking about it? Of course I don't fucking like thinking about it. Do you have to deal with it? Unfortunately. But it's a matter of like, okay, so what am I going to do with it? You know? How am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to heal myself? It's not my fault these things happen to me and everything. I think that's something I also that's something my therapist has also told me directly, that the stuff that I'd shared with her, she would bring up, it's not your fault that these things occurred. These are things that are like out of your control, XYZ, and a lot of things are out of our control, and that's okay. It just sucks when you get the short end of it. Da da da. Taught to have it. Ah, wah, 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 wah. I low-key want to adopt since I was adopted. Oh, that's so sweet. I've always considered adopting too. Wing it, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? Oh my god, Tundra. You're part of the problem with yourself. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, so many things. Many. Also, Tundra, fuck it, we ball. One day at a time. Exactly. That is the hard part. Start to care about yourself. Oh, it is always hard to start. That is one of the hardest things to do when it comes to healing. Taking the very first step to do it.
naturally. They're like, okay, fine. So I undo the negative beliefs. How do I know what is a legitimate negative belief and what is a illegitimate negative belief? So now we're going to turn a little bit to yoga, because I like the yogic concept because
Yoga.
the yogic concept is very subjective. So it teaches you about, your mind from your perspective, from inside your mind. So there are three things to understand. There are three components of the mind that we're going to focus on. There's the manas, the buddhi, and the ahamkar. So the manas is the emotional mind, the buddhi is the intellect, and the ahamkara is the ego. So if you are trying to understand how do I know if my mind is working properly or if it has been gaslit, there are only three things that you need to do. The first thing that you need to do is notice the contribution of emotion. Now, this is important to understand because a lot of people I work with will say, oh, I don't feel emotion. Right? Doesn't bother me at all.
When
I have
chat
no
doesn't
emotion.
feel.
I have ice in my veins. I worked with a kid once who said that, people call me the Iceman because I don't feel any emotion. I have no emotion.
Not a kid.
So the first thing to understand is there's a difference
Oh,
between
no.
not feeling emotion and not having emotion. One, it's not that you don't have it.
My
it's
father
that you're
gave me
blind to
balding
it.
gene. I'm
Right?
never
So we have
going to
this part of our
forgive
brain
him.
called the amygdala. And that is part of this broader part of our brain called the limbic system. This is our emotional circuit of the brain.
so sorry,
And I hate to
Alex.
break it to y'all, but these circuits are active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right? It's not like there's some part of your body that just has no blood flow or activity. Your kidneys are active 24 hours a day. Your stomach is active 24 hours a day, maybe a little bit more active, maybe a little bit less active. There's still cellular respiration. Even while I'm sleeping and I'm not moving my hand, there is cellular respiration and cellular activity going on in my hand. The same is true of your emotional circuitry. It's active 24 hours a day. There are times where there's more blood flow and less blood flow, but it's always active. So the first thing to understand, if you're trying to figure out, am I being gaslit? Is this a real thought? Is this a fair thought? What is the accurate thought? Is to notice the impact of emotion. So the first thing is, if you don't notice any emotion, then you cannot be thinking clearly, right? So I'll give you all a simple example. So if you talk to someone who's angry and you ask them, hey, are you upset? They're like, no, I'm not upset. I'm perfectly logical. I'm not upset at all.
You're lying to me if you have never, oh my God, this is a great frame. If you have never, ever reacted this fucking way when you're mad. You're absolutely fucking lying to me. I believe everyone has gone through a phase like this. Maybe you're still in this phase, but it'd be like that.
Upset. And how logical are they? How clear is their thought process? How thinking, are they appraising the situation appropriately? No. I don't ever get dumped. You're going to get dumped. I'm dumping you before you get I'm not tilting. You're tilting. I'm not making a mistake in a video game. We're losing this game because of you. How
Oh my
logical are they
God.
behaving? Not at all. Oh, what's the matter, bro? Are you tilted? Angry much? No, I'm
He's
not angry.
speaking the language.
You're angry.
Oh, I hate
This
that.
is idiocy. So the
I
first
fucking
thing to
hate
understand if you
that.
want to think clearly is acknowledge the impact of emotion. If you cannot acknowledge the impact of emotion, your thoughts are not clear. I'll give you all another example.
That's
Right? So this is
valid.
crazy, but sometimes I play games on the internet. And even when I get pissed, I will say, man, I'm so angry. I'm so tilted right now, bruh. I'm so tilted.
Bruh.
Feels like you fed this game. I played a great game. We were making a comeback, but you threw in the towel. You inted down, man. I'm so pissed off at you. The moment that you acknowledge what you are feeling, it changes the feeling's power over you. Right? So if I say to myself, oh my God, I'll be alone for the rest of my life. Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling hopeless? No, this is truth. This is objective. I have evidence. It's not an emotion. Whereas, what's the alternative? Hey, I'm feeling really hopeless because I've been working on this stuff for a long time. I haven't made any progress. I feel hopeless. The moment that you acknowledge an emotion, at least you understand some of its impact into your thought process. The moment that you acknowledge, oh, why am I behaving this way? It's because I'm jealous. Wow. How does jealousy shape my thought process? How does anger shape my thought process? How does sadness shape my thought process? Because it is doing the shaping. That happens, right? That's fact. That's scientific fact. But unless you understand how sadness is shaping your thought process, you will never arrive at the correct thought process. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit more hopeless, so everything seems negative to me. But since hopelessness causes me to view things negatively, things are not quite as bad as what I perceive. Let me give it 24 hours and hopefully things will be better. Do y'all see the difference? Huge, night and day. So this is the importance of the manas. Second thing to think about is the ahamkara, or the ego. So this is the other
Manas.
part of our thought process that if we miss this as a component to our thought process, then our thoughts will not be correct and we will gaslight ourselves into something. Okay? So I'll give you all a classic example. So when we're talking about ego, best example is narcissism.
Oh
right?
boy.
So a narcissist never believes that they're narcissistic, right? That's the whole problem with narcissism. They have no insight into how egotistical they are being.
Yes.
And so if they have no insight, they are not viewing the world in the correct way. So what do we do in psychotherapy with narcissists? We help them develop insight into their own narcissism. And
That's
it's not that it
wild.
disappears overnight, but once they begin to realize, oh, this is my narcissism. This is my ego, right? Why am I insulting this person? Why am I avoiding going to my friend's birthday party? It's because I feel inferior to them. I feel like they're so far ahead of me, and I don't like the way that my ego feels bruised when I meet them and they say, hey, bro, what are you up to? And this is a real story from my life. You know, I went to this Christmas party and I met a friend of mine from high school. I hadn't seen her in 6 years. And I was like, hey, what are you up to? She's like, oh, yeah, I just finished med school and I'm going to be an ophthalmologist, right? So I just started, I started my internship in ophthalmology about 6 months ago. And she's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm applying to med school. Same age, went to the same high school, sat next to each other. She's already done and I haven't even started. It's not even clear if I will be able to start. Such a blow to the ego. So there are two things to keep in mind in terms of ego. Anytime your mind makes a comparison, that is the action of ego. Anytime your mind pumps yourself up or puts you down or puts someone else up or puts them down, that is also the action of ego. If y'all want more details on this, check out our videos on Vedic psychology. We go into a lot more detail there. But the key thing to understand is when we are trying to think about our thought process and what is gaslighting and what isn't, the presence of ego will allow our thought process to be messed up, right? So when we believe ourselves is low, oh, this person is so much smarter than me, my partner, my romantic partner, they're so much better than me, I'm so much worse than them, they're so capable, I'm so incapable. That's ego, right? It is a sort of negative ego, which you can absolutely have. And this is what I like about the yogic system, is that even insecurities are a form of ego. It is a belief about yourself. I am a loser. That is ego. Because it is anything that I am ...
Damn, that's
anything
crazy.
that comes after the I am ... is ego. That is the action of ego. So once you notice the action of ego, then your thought process will be better as well. Oh, I feel inferior, therefore I don't want to go to this party. I'm making a comparison, therefore I look at my friend who, and I don't know if y'all have ever done this, I do this all the time, or used to really, is I used to look at my friends who are better than me at something. And then I would say to myself, I can't do it, right? I don't want to be, I can't do it. But of course I can do it. I just can't do it as well as them. And there's a huge difference between those two statements. So this is the second thing that we really need to focus on.
That's crazy.
Now, in terms of the intellect, I think there are certain ways to train the intellect. But in my experience with the patients that I've worked with, 95% of people don't have a problem with their intellect. They have a problem with their ego or a problem with their emotions. So if you want to discover the right way to think, how do I utilize my brain in the correct way?
I'll be honest, chat. I have a problem with my emotions. I don't think I really have a problem with ego. I feel like I can finesse out of that easily because I'm like, yeah, blank blank makes me feel like blank, basically. I'm always so aware of it, but it's always the emotional part. I think that's what it is. That's crazy.
What is the correct way to think? It is very simple. If you look at your thought process, can you understand the impact of emotions on your thought process? If you do not see the impact of emotions on your thought process, you're making a mistake. Oh my God, Wall Street bets. Diamond hands, baby.
Oh no.
Ape strong. I'm going to buy this crypto coin, stupid idiot coin, because it's a meme coin. And I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to make $1 billion. Not even dollars. I'm going to make 1 billion Bitcoin. Oh yeah. That's because of your mind. You have an emotion. You have excitement. Or when people YOLO, right? It's not just excitement. They hate their current life. I want this life to change. I'm desperate for this life to change. I'm looking for a magic bullet that will fix my life. They're operating based on desperation. Could be, right? Who knows? So the point is, notice the impact of emotion. Second thing is, notice the impact of ego. How do I feel about myself in this situation? Do I feel inferior? Do I feel superior? How does the feeling of being inferior, or how does the feeling of inferiority shape my thought process? Because when you feel inferior, it negatively shapes your thought process. That itself is a distortion. And this is what we do in therapy, right? So this is why therapy is great. It's not about convincing you that you're a good person. It is about objectively understanding what are the distortions in your mind. How do those distortions shape you? And the crazy thing about therapy, at least in my opinion, is that it's not about all the positive, right? Like, what do we talk about? You're like crying a lot and you're talking about your traumas. And in therapy, at least with my patients, I try really hard to objectively look at their weaknesses. But there's a huge difference, because once you objectively find a weakness and you acknowledge your ego, I feel like a loser and I've never had a date in my life. So one of those statements is true, right? You've never had a date in your life. That's an objective fact. And I feel like a loser. Now, as long as you feel like a loser, never having a date in your life becomes a destiny. When you are a loser, your past becomes your future, right? Since I'm so far behind, I will never be able to catch up. But that is a construction of the mind. Because if you've never had a date in your life and you're 28 years old, there's two paths in front of you. One is that you could learn how to date. And the second is that you can believe that you are destined to never date. And I'm not saying that the people who have never had a date, they haven't tried, right? Of course y'all have tried. I know y'all have tried really, really hard. You're incredibly intelligent, and oftentimes y'all work way harder than the normies do. The difference, though, is that you are shackled by this sense of ego. Every single time you go on a date, in the back of your mind, I'm a loser, I'm a loser, I'm a loser. And so every sort of little thing, someone doesn't respond to your text in 2 hours, oh, I'm not a good person. They're not that into me. Of course, they found someone else, right? These are the negative thoughts that populate your mind. And this is what's crazy, right? This is the gaslighting. It's not that they found someone else within 2 hours. It's that they were like in a tunnel or something like that, and they didn't have reception. Like, I don't know, right? There's 1,000 other reasons why anyone could not respond to you. But once you have this ego construction, once you've gaslit yourself, which, by the way, they found someone better than me, makes sense, right? Because depending on how you grew up, if you had a sibling who was the golden child, then there's literally in the house, there's always someone who's been better than you. So this is the real gaslighting. And therapy is not about gaslighting you in the right direction. It's about removing the gaslighting. And hopefully then, once you remove the gaslighting, you can actually look at your flaws. And once you look at your flaws, then you can start working on them, hopefully with the compassionate support of an individual who can help you. Okay? So I know that a lot of people think that therapy is just gaslighting yourself in the right direction. It's not gaslighting yourself in the right direction. It is removing the gaslighting. And the best way for you to discover that is to give it a shot. So, a child who wants to learn how to walk. Ugh.
Oh my God, are these bloopers?
I need to calm down.
So cute. I love when people insert bloopers for recordings. It's the best thing. It's funny how we think we're far behind when there's no race to begin with. That's true. Everyone, when we start to compare ourselves to other people, I feel like there's always something that we want from others. But it also works the same way. There might be someone out there that probably wants something in your life that they don't have. And it's like, there really is no race to begin with. Everyone works at their own pace. I'm like, what? Why does it have to be a race to begin with anyways? Because society. Because we're apparently taught that. Very toxic. I used to think like that, but I managed to go past it by myself. That's so good. I'm so proud of you. I want to find someone who will like me. Someone likes me. Ew. You like me? Raise your standards. No! That's bad. You always have to see yourself in such a positive, not the most positive light, but you have to be confident. People can tell. I think even within like the dating scene, people can tell like who's actually confident. But confidence is very subjective too. Everyone has to learn how to be confident with just themselves, specifically themselves. Churro! Hello, Churro. Oh gosh. Let me go through the check-ins now since we were watching. Arkyma, thank you for checking in. DG, thank you for checking in. SK Gaby, thank you for checking in my safe zone. Let's see. Cosby, Desk Cloud, Cynic, and Churro, thank you again for checking in. Welcome to the mental health stream. Have confidence. Not the what's up, BB. Now, Meowie has to play Persona 4 Golden in the future. I have never played any of the Persona games. Is that bad? But I've heard Persona 4 is really good. Some people like you, some people don't like you. People are different. It is what it is. We do the best we can. Oh, absolutely. Everyone's not meant to like you. There's always going to be someone that doesn't like you, and that's fine. Not everyone has to like you. The same goes for yourself. You don't have to like everyone either. Everyone's so different, and that's okay. Before we move on to the next video, female bullying. Is there any topic Dr. K touched on in this video you want to rewatch, revisit, explore deeper? That's a good question. I feel like, bro, the beginning half was so triggering though. Let's be honest. He was calling out a lot of stuff that I was like, yo. Not my parents teaching me that I'm worthless or I'll never be good enough. Let's see. Honestly, this whole video was really good even though it was only 24 minutes. I don't like female bullies. We don't like a lot of bullies, let's be honest. There's no farming in Persona 4. Hey, hop on Fluffy Town. Please join the Gotcha Cat game. Where was it? Where was that example where we talked about the kid and the test?
Did your parents throw birthday parties for you? Did your parents effectively be challenging? But the question is, why? What is it that contributed to your life being challenging? If you're someone who's, let's say, 28 years old and you've never been in a romantic relationship.
I think the biggest thing that I got out of this video though is it really comes down to how do I dumb this down? Emotional regulation. I feel like this video is a very good sum up of what emotional regulation is really all about. Because that is something that that is one of the big things that I've been working on in therapy as well, aside from my inner turmoil of anxiety that I never knew was anxiety. I'm starting to hate the main character getting kicked out of the party slash team trope. What? Getting kicked out of a party slash team. Hello, Ghoulish. Welcome. Very impactful video. Absolutely. Hello, TY. Or should I just call you thank you? Welcome. Thank you for chatting for the first time. I need to sleep. Thank you, Meowie, in chat. Have a wonderful evening. Oh my goodness. Good night, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you rest well. Good night, good night. Rest well. Get the rest you deserve, you need. Thanks for joining us. Lost 40 pounds, was very angry because lack of calories. It worked, but had to remind everyone that I was losing weight and angry. Hey, that's pretty valid though. Hey, at least you got to tell people like, hey, yeah, I'm going on this very strenuous journey. You know, giving people a heads up like why you might be behaving a certain way is okay too. Like, yeah, I might be more angry lately because I'm not eating the food that I used to really enjoy eating. I can't eat them anymore. It's not good for me. Ta, thank you for checking in. Welcome. I gotta head out as well. Thank you for the stream, Yowie. Thank you for being here, Brad. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening and night. Goodbye. I was like, I want to find the example where he mentioned the kid that got an 89 score on his test. Was that a little bit earlier than this?
In themselves, whereas someone else was supported in their endeavors. So you'll see this a lot where like musicians have kids who are also really great musicians. Oh my God, talent. It must run in the family, nah? Look at how genetics are so good. There could be a genetic
You
component.
thought I was
going to
say emotional damage.
that you
No,
grow
no,
up with
no.
instill
Yeah.
certain kinds of skills in you. They instill even things like a worldview, right? And so the real advantage of therapy is not that you gaslight yourself. It is that you undo all of the gaslighting that has been done so far. And
You know, I think this is a nice video to also just welcome people into possibly thinking about therapy or consider therapy. I genuinely believe therapy is very helpful for everyone, but you have to be ready for it, for sure. My whole family is composed of really good artists on a prestigious level, some of them, and I'm into maths. And programming. Got him. Oh, that's crazy. Do you have like any interest when it comes to art? Just any inkling of it or no? The 98 or 89% talk is around 5 minutes. Oh shit, it was that early? I didn't know. Oh. Oi, oi, oi. Hello, Raiders. My name's Aku Meowie, but you can call me Meowie. I'm your personal demon cat maid here at your service, and I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. I like to sing, do art, and a little bit of voice acting. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Raiders. I hope playing Bloons was great. I hope you were winning. Welcome in, Raiders. We're doing a watch along, and it all relates to educational mental health. We're learning a lot today. Possibly chat is getting a little attacked emotionally and relating. But welcome in, you guys. Not sniffing the Raiders, yeah. Ugh. I smell Raiders. It's the who doesn't know who I am. You're Jeff. I know who Jeff is. Hi, Jeff. Excuse me. I know who Jeff is. Jeff is so mean to me, he wouldn't get on his knees for me. But what if getting on his knees would hurt his knees? You ever think of that? Sniff, sniff. Let's see. Let me scroll up. I do music stuff and I have such huge imposter syndrome. Oh man, Des, don't get me started on imposter syndrome. Oh, I have to always fight imposter syndrome, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people also have to fight it. It's a very interesting battle to always be like, no, no, no. I deserve these things. I deserve it. I do. I worked hard. I'm capable. It's always difficult to work around it. He's the persona man. Oh. Not the back-to-back raid. Da da da. Oi. Hello, Raiders! My name's Hakumia, but you can call me Meowie. I'm your personal demon cat maid here at your service, and I'm a variety streamer here at Twitch. I like to sing to art and a little bit of voice acting. Hello. Oh my goodness! Do you have the same... Do you use the shrimp model that I use on my head? Look, it's you for real, for real. It censored me? That's fucking crazy. Is it because your name has Gooch? Listen, I can't control what wants to be censored here, alright? Listen, That's all you, buddy. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. Don't look at me. You could totally blame the platform. I wouldn't censor the word Gooch. Ghoulish, thank you for checking in. And Robo, thank you for checking in. But welcome in, Raiders. We are watching videos related to mental health. And oh my god, Zach. Break it down, bitch. Let me see you back it up. I appreciate it. No, I appreciate you for bringing your community here. I'm so sorry. You accidentally got censored. I didn't mean it. It's not my fault. Welcome in, you guys. Gooch should be allowed now. Thank you, Nair. I didn't even know that that would actually be censored. That's crazy. It was automod? Was it an automod thing? That's wild. Automod is pretty valid for that. Chat, can we get 100 gifted for this injustice of our local chef? I saw the icon of the little shrimpy on my head. Do you use this shrimp model? I love this shrimp model. Automod hates me? Oh, haters make you stronger though, it's okay. Automod's just probably your biggest fan. Break it down, bitch. Yeah, I have a little shrimpy on my head. I love using this little guy. It's my favorite. Truly my favorite. Yeah, welcome in. We just got done watching a video called The Truth About Therapy and Gaslighting Yourself. And to sum it up for the raiders that just came in from both raids, therapy is not about gaslighting yourself. It's about undoing the gaslighting that you do to yourself. I know, that sounds very complex, but I swear that's what the video taught us. Let's see. The next one. Okay, so chat earlier voted for why female bullying is so hard to recognize. That is the second one you guys voted to watch in that order. Okay, let's see. Copy. Where'd it go? All right, chat.
Communication-based stuff like
Oi,
eye
oi.
rolling, you know, crossing your arms. We also have studies that show that these
Okay, so this is 20, almost 28 minutes long, you guys. Why female bullying is so hard to recognize. Are you guys ready for this? No. You're stinky. So stinky. What the fuck? Wait, why is there two? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, why was there two? What the? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, I only see one person redeemed it. Why did it do it twice? Cosby, you fucking stink. Oh, Arga, thank you for the stretch earlier. Oh, we have taxpayers. Let the OS, never mind. Let's see. Fell. Orchid Mod, SK Gaming, Cosby, Alex. Shut up! Chad, thank you for the hydration. Shut up, crazy. Why are you bullying me? Why are you bullying me? No hentai.
are very communication-based attacks. So since they don't engage in a directly disruptive behavior, there's not something that they can be found guilty of. I wasn't hitting on your boyfriend. I was just walking past them in a bikini. If your boyfriend wants to look, that's his problem. What's the matter? Do you feel not?
This is triggering. If you ever do this, you're a piece of shit. Just know that. If you ever do that and you say things like that, just know you're scum.
Not confident in it? Do you feel like you're not attractive enough to keep your boyfriend? This is how they...
And the fact that I have met people like this is even crazier, and that's what makes it so triggering. It's like, why are you like this? Why?
do. So the first thing that I have to say is this is one of the most important and also hardest
Lovey, thank you for
videos
checking
that
in.
I put
Welcome.
together, and the reason is really simple. If you look at the internet today, misogyny is rampant. And so I'm afraid that anything that I say that talks about how women can be aggressive, women can be evil, women can be bad, will very quickly be taken as justification for further misogynistic behavior. But that's not why I'm making this video. In fact, it's something that I'm going to try very hard to avoid. So right now at the very beginning, I'm going to say this is not a video about why women are bad. This is a video about the fact that some women are bad.
You hear that? Some women are bad, chat. Just like how I talk shit that some men are actual garbage. Not all men. Some men are literal garbage. And it's vice versa for women. Equality.
Some women do bully, that some women are aggressive, and that some women are even sociopathic. And the problem in today's world is that if you are faced with one of these women, whether it be a mother, whether it be a sister, whether it be someone at school, that these women can be incredibly aggressive in a very subtle and indirect way.
Not the
And that
selective
this
here.
aggression can be so devastating that it can even result in death. Now, when we look at male aggression, we look
Ow,
at
it's
things
so
like, okay,
bright.
violence, right? So if you look at the number of men who are in prison for murder, the number is very high.
Whoa, wait, whoa. Wait, backtrack. What was the
So if
number?
you look at the number of men who are in prison for murder,
Hold up. In 2022, there were 15K male murder offenders in the United States compared to 2K female offenders. Men are terrifying. Men are This is why women are scared. This is the exact reason, you guys. This is genuinely the exact fucking reason, okay? Men are scary. Men are very scary, okay? Statistics show that men are terrifying. Thank you.
the number is very high. And we know that men can be violent. There's this whole thing going on the internet about would you rather be alone in the forest with a man or a bear? And
Do you guys want to know which one I would pick? Does anyone want to take a wild guess? Between a man and a bear, would anyone like to take just a wild random guess which one I would pick between the two? I've heard this question before. Oh yes, it's a very famous question that kind of popped off in the past month. The man, no, the bear. Absolutely the bear. Because even if a bear can absolutely maul and kill me, I would feel more safe dying to a bear compared to a man. And that speaks a lot. That says a lot.
And most women would choose a bear because men can be deceptive, men can be aggressive, and I know a lot of men get upset about that, but let's remember that women have their experiences. The problem is...
Exactly. I remember when I would read threads of people answering that question, and then for some reason, a bunch of guys would try to invalidate these women that would explain like their reasoning. And it's usually because of their own personal experiences. And it's like, you can't invalidate how someone feels. Because whatever someone feels, that is their own feelings, and you can't control that. And so the fact that there are so many guys out there that would get offended, just personally, for some fucking reason, offended that any woman was like, oh my God, I picked the bear. And they take that upon themselves to be upset. That is a huge red flag. Genuinely a huge red flag, because that has nothing to do with you. That is their own experience. That is their feelings, and you should just let it be. You know, it's insane. It's like anyone that gets personally mad at that, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind.
Is that when it comes to physical aggression, we have safeguards in place, right? So I'm not saying that physical aggression is easy to avoid, but you can go to, a martial arts class and learn how to physically defend yourself. You can even get something like mace or pepper spray. If you are physically assaulted, there are places you can go. You can go to the hospital. They'll document your injuries. You can go to the police. I'm not saying that they always do a great job, but there are systems in place to protect you from physical aggression. There are scanners at the airport to make sure someone doesn't bring a gun in. The problem is that when it comes to female aggression and bullying, there aren't safeguards, right? What do you do? What do you say when someone is bullying you, when someone is being aggressive with you in an indirect way? How do you defend yourself? And the science on female aggression shows that the majority of victims don't even feel like they're victimized. They don't even realize that they're the victims of some form of aggressive behavior. So a couple of other quick disclaimers.
That's crazy.
So this is not a video just about female bullying. Am I going to get attacked? While this is the weapon of choice, let's say, for female bullies, which is why we're characterizing it that way, the first thing that I want to point out to y'all, just to be clear, is that men can be indirectly aggressive, absolutely, and women can also be directly aggressive. So this is a video about teaching y'all the principles of indirect aggression. Now, why do we talk about women if we're talking about indirect aggression? Because, frankly, that's what most of the studies are on. For the same reason that if you look at something like antisocial personality disorder or people who are sociopaths, these are much likely to be studies on men because that is the way that their sociopathy manifests, right? So they manifest in a particular way that is violent, that is more likely. It's easier to study men. So if we're doing a study on sociopathy, we'll go to places like prisons and we'll study men. So today what we're going to do is teach you what the playbook of a female bully looks like. What are their patterns of aggression? How do women sociopaths act? And I know these are all three different things.
Oh,
we'll
man,
go into
I'm going to learn so much today.
Let's talk a little bit about female bullying and aggression. The first thing is that it is indirect, which means it isn't about doing something. It is actually about the avoidance of doing something. So it is about ignoring, exclusion, leaving you out. Sometimes it can be a lot of like very communication-based stuff like eye rolling, crossing your arms. We also have studies that show that these are very communication-based attacks and not even communication towards you. They'll do things like spread hostile rumors, try to do things like seduce your romantic partner, hit on your romantic partner. These are all forms of female aggression. There's another important issue here, which is that girls who do this will often not engage in disruptive behavior, which is much more common in men who are bullies or boys who are bullies. So since they don't engage in a directly disruptive behavior, there's not something that they can be found guilty of, right? So if you go to your frenemy, and you say, hey, can you please stop hitting on my boyfriend? What they're going to say is, I wasn't hitting on your boyfriend. I was just walking past them in a bikini. If your boyfriend wants to look, that's his problem. What's the matter? Do you feel not confident in it? Do you feel like you're not attractive enough to keep your boyfriend? This is how they do. So the process starts with something called moving into the gray zone. Normally what happens is you have a circle of people who are all connected in some way. And the first step of the female bully is to isolate, to ostracize. So start engaging in different activities that move you into the gray zone.
This reminds me of all the movies I've seen
about it. You can feel it happen, but it's so hard to blame them. Are you crazy? Is this really happening? Some studies show that the victims of female bullying aren't even aware that they are victims. They're made to feel stupid. They're made to feel at fault because there's no direct form of aggression. So it starts by pushing you into the gray zone. The second thing about female bullying is that it's oftentimes very group-based. So the person won't do something to you. They will say, oh, it is the group that is doing this to you. It's not me. It is all of us.
Oh my God.
And sometimes what happens is you don't have a single bully. You have 2 or 3 girls in a group of girls that dislike you. And they will work in concert. And since one of them doesn't invite you to this, what would be hilarious if we didn't invite this person to both of our parties? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Oh my God, that's such a great idea for a joke. So you don't get invited to one party. You don't get invited to another party. And then a third girl, someone in the group is like, hey, maybe we should invite this person. They're like, oh my God, this is so much fun. We're getting such great bonding time. So they create a situation where there is a diffusion of responsibility. It's not me that's bullying you. It's the group. It's not my fault that you're not getting invited to parties. Maybe you should work on being a better guest at a party. And once that person gets pushed to the gray zone, they will comment. They will try to defend themselves. And this is a term that's actually been, quoted in the scientific literature. This creates a retaliatory action by the bully group. Once you say, hey, why aren't y'all inviting me? The bullying group responds. Maybe because you're this way or this way or this way. We didn't do anything wrong. It's all in your head. So once they push you to the edge and you decide you want to defend yourself, you call them out on their behavior. And this triggers something that's well documented in the literature called retaliatory humiliation. They've debated you. You call them out on, oh, no, it's not my fault. Why are you so crazy? Why can't you see the way that I'm being nice to you? Why can't you value my friendship? Why do you view the world so negatively? They blame you for manipulation. This is how it works. So if we want to defend ourselves against this cycle, we have to understand what triggers a bully, what makes it safe for a bully, as well as the sequences. There's subtle things that the literature shows that you can do to protect yourself, and we have to share those with you. So first, let's talk a little bit about the neuroscience of female aggression. So the first thing to understand is if you look at why women are less overtly aggressive than men, women are much more sensitive to the possibility of retaliation. So if you ask men, what would make you, attack or not attack someone else, men are okay being punished in return. So, one of the very classic...
Is this true? Men in chat, I need confirmation. Is that statement true? Hold up, back it up. Wait, let me hear that one more time.
What would make you, attack or not attack someone else? Men are okay being punished in return.
Is that true? That men are okay with being punished in return. They're fine. It's okay. Perfectly okay. Yes, question mark. As a man can confirm.
So, one of the very classic
I'm
things that we
responsible
see
for
in
my
various like
action
TV shows and things like that,
and my
right? Is
mistakes.
you see a man who's got a black eye and a bruised face and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, bro, did you get into a fight? Their response, you should see the other guy. Yeah, the other guy's way worse.
Why are guys like this? Men, why are you like this? Yeah, you see what I did to him.
Men are fundamentally more comfortable with dishing out damage and receiving damage. Getting hit back is not a very good deterrent from aggression. The consequences of their aggression, men, generally speaking, care less about. The number one reason why women are less likely to be aggressive is because they are concerned about the fallout from their aggression. They're concerned about getting hit back. And we can even see like some versions of this in the animal kingdom. I think you've got to be super careful when you talk about animals and extrapolating it out to human behavior. But if we look at things like prides of lions, right? So the female lions will do the hunting because the thing that you're attacking doesn't fight back. It's about catching it, not fighting.
It's okay, guys. He's just
holding
holding him.
Fighting that needs to be done when hyenas are attacking a lion pack, it's the male lion who fights, right? So we see versions of this even within the animal kingdom. But we also know from neuroscience studies that this is probably correct. That is, it is the inhibition of retaliation that really causes women to not be aggressive. And how do we know this? Because we can look at studies of alcohol. So women are much more likely to be physically aggressive when they're drunk, just like.
As a woman, can confirm. I would like to admit that as a woman, yes, he is valid. He is right.
Like men, but the mechanism is different. So specifically what alcohol does is when a woman is drunk, fear-based circuits that warn them, that inhibit behaviors because they say, hey, if you hit someone, that person will hit back. This is a fundamental inhibition to female aggression. And alcohol disinhibits us. So what it does is disables the fear of the consequences. There's also something really fascinating. Oxytocin increases female aggression. And you may say to yourself, well, hold on a second, Dr. K. I thought oxytocin was a bonding hormone. I thought oxytocin is the hormone that causes bonding between a mother and child. Oxytocin is the milk letdown hormone. So when women are breastfeeding, right, they have a lot of they have a lot of milk production in their breasts, but how does the breast know when to release the milk? It is oxytocin that triggers breast milk release. And so you may say to yourself, but hold on a second, oxytocin is also the cuddling hormone. When people have sex and they cuddle.
Vince. So if my girlfriend beats me, it's because she's bonded with me. Vince, you know I'm girlfriend, right? Hold up. You trying to go? You trying to catch these hands, Vince? See you at Disneyland in 2 weeks, bitch. We're about to fight it out. Oh yeah, if I didn't tell you guys, me and Vince are going to Disneyland in 2 weeks. We're about to square up at Disneyland. It's gonna be so funny.
Afterward, both of their brains release oxytocin. This forms emotional bonds. So let me ask you, the one archetype that you should avoid at all costs is the mama bear, right? Anytime we know if there's a wild animal that has babies, they will be incredibly aggressive. And that's absolutely correct, right? So when we have a child, a baby, it can be a mama bear, can be like a mama dog, like whatever, mama cat. Anytime there are kittens away, there are cubs at play, there are children at play, women can be incredibly aggressive.
This is me. I am this woman. Literally, I'm so maternal to the point where, like, if I consider something literally, like, precious, like a child to me, I will be so fucking aggressive. Just like for my community, if anyone comes in here and fucks with my community, I'm gonna maul their ass. You best believe I'm gonna be so fucking violent. Oh my God. I am so aggressive about maternal things like this. Just let me at them. Don't touch
So
my
when
beanies.
a woman has a child, the oxytocin level is through the roof. And if you threaten the child, the mom doesn't care. Normally, female mammals, women, are inhibited by the possibility of getting hurt. But when oxytocin is floating around, it actually increases maternal aggression. And that's evolutionary.
Wait,
so we have to
does that mean I have a lot of oxytocin? You guys, I'm learning so much today. Does that mean, can you have too much oxytocin though? Is there such a thing as having too much oxytocin? Can it be toxic? Can I be delusional? Me on my way to be one of Meowie's communities so I can be protected.
understand
Don't
that
touch my
if we
beanies.
want to stop a female bully, we have to remember that the biggest thing that inhibits aggression is the fear of the
Oxytoxic.
consequences. And so once we understand that, what we really need to focus on is not calling them out on their behavior, but creating and shaping an environment where there are going to be consequences for them.
Stop
so we're going to
barking.
talk about a
Sorry.
couple of other triggers for female bullying. So one of them is very unusual. So one way to trigger a female bully is by you making another friend. So right now you're
What?
part of a social circle, right? So you're in the social circle, you're bullied.
You guys, it's the power of friendship. In order to combat against women bullies, you have to use the power of friendship. It all makes sense. We've become a full fucking circle.
Is in the social circle.
Oh
One
my
of the things that will
God.
trigger your bully
It's
is if
the
you start
friends we
stepping
met
outside
along
of the social
the
circle. If you create a network that excludes her, she is much more likely to trigger a bullying response, right? So this is kind of the social dynamic. They're super concerned about their place within the social circle and hierarchy.
Create the friends.
We can also see this. I've seen this in my patients when
Also, Prankster, thank you for
mothers have I have a great relationship with my daughter. My daughter and I are besties. And then the daughter starts making friends, starts going on trips, triggers this weird bullying response from mom. Where
Oh
mom's
my
like, yeah, I don't want
God.
you to hang out with them. Like,
Those
you
are the
never spend time
worst.
with them. They start guilt tripping you. They start complaining to your other family members. Yeah, she's making the wrong friends. They start to use all of these other things around you. They don't tell you, hey, I feel excluded from your life. I feel like I've invested my whole life in you. You're the primary source of my social support. And if you start making friends outside of me, I feel alone. They don't
That's
say
so
that, right? They
toxic.
will start to rally allies, try to get you from not hanging out. Oh yeah, this boyfriend isn't right for you. Why? Because he's helping you be independent. Fuck that. So one thing and this is what's the reason I share this is because it's so confusing for so many people. Because you're like, I don't understand. I thought we were friends. I don't understand why. It feels like this person is excluding me. They're insulting me all the time. Like they're saying slight things. Oh yeah, like that dress. What do you think about? What do I think about this dress? I think the dress would look way better on you if you lost some weight. They say shit like that.
Dude, I will never understand how some people stay in friendship dynamics like this, because it's so sad. It's genuinely so fucking sad. I'm like, please save these people that don't realize that these people are not their friends. I think these type of friendship dynamics, they're genuinely not real friendships. It's literally just ego boosting off of a person that a group of people equally do not like. It's insane to me. And that's all because they have their own insecurities. And they just want to take it out equally on someone they all hate. Sunk cost fallacy, and they're afraid they won't be able to find new friends. I know, but it's so sad. Sometimes you gotta be that person to kind of step in. Even if you're not gonna be like, let's just say like a real close friend to someone, it's always okay to kind of tell someone like, hey, that shit's fucked up. Or to even kind of stand up for someone and be like, the fuck? That's not cool.
It's insane. And you're like, I don't know.
Real talk though, if you ever hear any of your friends talk to one of their so-called other friends like this, call them out. If you're a real friend, fucking call them out on their bullshit. Don't let that shit slide, because if you're friends with someone and they say shit like this to someone near you that they consider a friend, that's whack. I don't think they're a good friend. You should absolutely call them out, because that shit's not okay. It's totally not okay. It's absolutely toxic.
understand. What did I do? Is something wrong? Did I do something to piss you off? Plausible deniability. No, of course. Why? Of course not. Why would you say that? I'm being your friend, and friends are honest with each other, and you look like shit in that dress. I've heard it in my office doing psychotherapy. It's insane.
That's
okay. So
terrifying.
Be careful what triggers them.
Not at the
One of the
office.
triggers is a fear of ostracization, exclusion, making new friends, forming tighter bonds with people in your shared friend group. A couple of other interesting statistics about aggression and female bullying. There's a stereotype that female bullies are attractive. And this is probably true. So when a woman is attractive, they are more likely to engage in bullying. The really interesting thing, what the movies don't tell us, is that if you're an attractive woman, you are also more likely to be bullied. So you're about 35% more likely to be bullied if you are an attractive woman. And
I don't want to flex on chat, but this is just my personal experience. Okay. I don't want to flex on chat. I've openly told Vince about this. I've openly talked to my actual close, like, best friends about things like this. And you know what my guy friends have told me? You know what they all have told me when I'm like, I don't know why they're always so mean to me, or like, blah, blah, blah. All of my guy friends have told me it's because you're attractive. And I'm like, what? But they're attractive. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, literally, I'm like, but they're so attractive. Like, why? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I don't, it's crazy. Listen, my trauma's wild. My history when it comes to like being close with women, unfortunately, there have been unfortunate circumstances, groups, cliques that have hurt me emotionally, very unfortunately, way back in the day, right? And every time I've talked to other friends about it, friends that I'm actually truly friends with, they're like, it's because you're attractive. And I'm like, what? But they're attractive. I don't understand. I think they're attractive. Like, I don't get it. Like, it just, why? It just mind boggles me. I'm like, why? But they're attractive. Why do they need to be mean? You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't, what? It's so crazy. And every time my guy friends would tell me it's because you look a certain way. It's because you look good. They're going to be mean to you. And I'm like, why? I just want girlfriends. I'm like, I just want girlfriends. Is that so fucking hard to ask for, bro? Is that so fucking hard? Oh, like, they literally don't know how else to get your attention by being mean? By being mean? That's different, though.
once again, remember what's going on here. It's about pack tactics, right? It's if you're the prettiest girl in the group, something that can happen is a couple of other girls in the group can be jealous of you. There's a lot of stuff about mating, which we'll talk about in a second. I hate to say this stuff, but somewhat true, right? Where if you're the pretty person, and this is what's so interesting. So why are you more likely to be victimized if you're a pretty woman? Not just by male aggressors, by female aggressors too, because that increases the plausible deniability. Oh, pretty women, you have pretty privilege. You get all of the advantages in life. You're so lucky. And by the way, haven't you seen Mean Girls? All the girls who are bullies are hot. You're the bully. I'm not the bully. It's that retaliative humiliation. Hey, why don't y'all invite me to things? We're not doing anything wrong. Maybe you should be a better friend. You know, you think that just because you're attractive, that makes you entitled to come to all of our parties and all of our social events. They're more likely to be victimized and more likely to be bullies. So even if you're an attractive woman who's listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I don't understand why people treat me this poorly. And here's the other problem, right? Is if you are an attractive person and you have pretty privilege and you go to someone and you say, hey, I'm a victim too. Something bad is happening to me. Do people listen to you?
No, they don't. I'm going to answer this for him. You don't even need to say the answer, you guys. They don't listen. If I say, woe is me, I've literally had other guys tell me, it's your pretty privilege. It's whatever. They basically invalidate me, but I'm like, wait, but I just want friends. What? I just want friends. What does this have to do with my looks, bro? I just want connection and friendship. I just don't understand. Please. It's so hard. They're just like, but you're at least good looking. At least you got that going for you. And I'm like, that's not the fucking problem. I'm like, I'm like, bro. My feeling.
Of course not. And that's why they pick you as a victim. Because remember, their primary fear is fear of retaliation. So if they can get away with it, they're more likely to be aggressive. Another thing that is very commonly a source of
sexual
bullying
threatening
is the fear of like sexual threat. So if you look at the data, women who are sexually threatening to their friends' partners, like women will look at each other. And I realize that this is not all women. This is just literally what some of the studies show.
I've met
is that
women
one of the
like
things
this.
that triggers female bullying is like some degree of belief.
Listen, I have met women like this, and they're so scary. I literally have to be like, I don't want your man. I really don't. You know what I'm talking about? You know when your homie gets with a girl, right? And maybe she got a lot of work that she gotta do on herself that she hasn't really done on herself yet, or hasn't really discovered it's really toxic, right? And then she meets some of his older like girlfriends that he's made in the past and have been really close friends with, and she's just like, no, we can't have, no, why are you friends with them? You guys know what I'm talking about. Dude, that shit's crazy to me. I'm like, whoa now. Whoa. It's just, oh my goodness. Especially when I've met like certain couples for the first time, and I've had literal instances of my guy friends telling me she doesn't like me. And I'm like, why? What? Did I say something? And they would have to break it to me like, I think she's just insecure. And I'm like, but she's with you. What? I have a boyfriend.
Of like mating competition.
It's insane.
Right? This is somewhat primitive, depends on the person. Not all women are like this. I would even say the majority of women are not like this. This video is actually about the minority of women who I believe are aggressive. That's what I've seen in my clinical practice. So if you suddenly lose a lot of weight, if you have a makeover, if you start dressing better and taking care of yourself, if your self-esteem starts to rise, this can make you a target because that's very threatening. I used to be the prettiest girl in the group and now you are competing. So if this stuff resonates with you, right? The good news is that there are actually a lot of studies that look at how can we protect people from this? What are the interventions that we need to do? A lot of these studies actually come from schools. So how can we prevent female bullying? And we're going to give y'all a couple of key things that you can do if you're in this situation. The first is that bullying is much more severe in small groups. For whatever reason, if your friend group is between 1 and 5 people, bullying is much more common. It is less prevalent in groups of people between 5 and 15. So if you kind of think about
y'all
it,
got
like, I don't
big
know if this
groups
kind of
of
makes
5
sense,
to
but
15.
in groups of 1 to 5, there's a very like fixed amount of resources.
Yo, who the fuck had a
There's
group of
very
friends that had
important
like
kind of
5 to
tier
15?
list, right? Because these are the 5 people involved, and we want to make sure that like I'm at the top and you're at the bottom. But when we get to levels of 15 people, it's
Y'all
really
peaked in
hard
high
to
school. Shut up.
manipulate 15 people. Oh, the 4 of us are going to get together and we're going to go boating on Saturday. And then there's still like 11 of us that are not going, so you can go hang out with those other 11 people.
5 to 15?
So the tools of the
That
bully
big of a group?
don't work nearly as well when we're talking about like numbers greater than 5 up to 15. So one solution that you can do is if you're someone who's a serial victim of bullying, especially if we're talking about the female style of bullying. Once again, men can do it too. One of the things to look out for is small groups. And the really scary thing is that if you've been a victim of female bullying and there's social isolation, you are so much more anxious in larger groups. So you end up gravitating towards smaller places that you feel more safe and are actually at a greater risk of being exploited. So larger groups are actually protective. The next thing that's really interesting is that a lot of female bullying propagates based on the bystander effect. Everyone else is going to be kind of like, I'm not going to get involved in this. There's some kind of power struggle going on. I don't want to get hurt. So one of the things that you can do to stop female bullying, if you see it, is stand with the victim. You don't have to, and this is really important, you don't want to accuse the bully because then that'll trigger the retaliatory humiliation. All you want to do is signal to the bully that this ostracization is not working. Right? So
Yeah,
this is
tell 'em
where
to
like
fuck
it's subtle,
off.
but I remember like working with some of my patients, and what we would do is we kind of like talk about it, right? So instead of saying like, oh, like we're excluding this person, you're excluding this person, that's not good, you're bullying them. You can't say that because they'll say, oh, I just forgot about it. Plausible deniability. Instead, what you want to say is something like this. Hey, I just noticed that we're not inviting this person. I know we were thinking about this, but I was just thinking like, how would y'all feel if we, if you got left out? That's not really cool. Maybe we should invite her anyway. So you're not accusing anyone. This is really important. You have to let them get away with it. And you want to stand with the person who's bullying. You want to
I get
advocate
bullied in
for
my
them.
corp all
This is
the
the
time.
other really
Shut up.
interesting thing. We move on to number 3, which is kind of baked in there, which is a no blame intervention is very effective. So when you kind of point out the bullying behavior, you actually don't want to blame the bully. This is actually step 2 of their debate combo, right? Where you blame them. You don't blame them at all. A no blame intervention, which what that means is like sort of focusing a little bit on feelings.
She
Like,
just yelled
oh,
at
like
me.
this
You
is
called me
unfortunate.
dirty.
No
Leave
one's
me
to blame
alone.
here, and it's bad. This person is being excluded. Let's be kind to this person. Let's advocate for this person. Let's include this person. You don't blame them. That'll trigger the defensive response. Our goal is to raise awareness. Right? Because remember that female bullying happens in the shadows. It happens
Wait, does
subtly.
that mean
It
you're
happens
a
in
woman,
private
Loggy?
conversations. It's eye rolling and things like that.
This is
So all we
specifically
really
for
need to do,
women
not
right
all,
now.
But one of the most effective things that we can do is make sure it doesn't happen in the shadows. Just, oh, by the way, hey, did y'all notice this is happening? I'm
The
not blaming anyone in
logs.
particular. So what we're trying to shoot for is I see you. If you are the person who is the victim in this situation, you don't want to call them out on it. What you want to signal to them is I see you. This is not happening in the gray zone. I am not oblivious to what is happening. So you don't want to say, hey, you're excluding me from all of these parties. Instead, what you want to say is, hey, if y'all don't want me to come, you have a group text or whatever. Hey, I heard y'all are getting together at so-and-so's house. If y'all are like interested in talking about particular private stuff, like I totally get it, right? If y'all don't want me to come, totally fine. I know that so-and-so is going through a tough time. If she doesn't want me there, I totally get it. I hope to catch up with y'all later.
Send them to the ICU.
Raise awareness of it.
I mean, that's a
And then
very
if you say,
aggressive
hey, you
way to
guys
do
don't
it.
need to invite me, but I am left out. By the way, hey, I'm left out. So what that does is recruits all of the other people. The way to stop a female bully is not by stopping the female bully. It's actually to recruit everyone else. It is an indirect form of combat. And then what happens is those people start to think, well, I don't want to be left in this situation, right? We should include other people. And by the way, this person seems pretty decent if they're pointing out these dynamics because everyone on some level knows what's going on. And if they want to gravitate towards a healthy community, they will actually end up supporting you, much more likely, much more effective than calling the person out and triggering the retaliatory humiliation. Another really important thing to do is to avoid emotional overreaction. So anytime you emotionally overreact, remember everything is happening in the shadows and happening in the gray zone. So if you get very, very emotional, you're like, you did this and I can't believe that you're not a good friend. Ooh, wow, this girl. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry we didn't include you. Can you believe her? She's crazy. So emotional overreaction only plays into the female bully's hands. So instead what you want to do is be aware and witty. Be like, oh yeah. This is the 3rd time you guys are forgetting to invite me. Look, I don't know what's going on here, but like, if you guys are enjoying doing this, I'd love to join y'all. But at the same time, like if you guys don't want me there, that's totally fine. Just let me know. Like I'm just confused more than anything else. Data suggests that snappy and humorous comments can go a long way. That's highly like situation specific. The last thing to consider is that the goal of a lot of female bullying is social isolation. The best way to protect yourself is not to fight the bully, but to be impervious to their attacks. So one of the best antidotes to being bullied is to actually develop social skills and learn how to make friends. So what happens is the bully is more likely to be aggressive if they know that their actions are going to isolate you. That's the goal. They push you to the edge of the social circle and then they cut you off. But if pushing you to the edge of the social circle doesn't work because you're able to form bonds or even form bonds with other people, and then you can play their game too. Oh yeah. I noticed like you guys had 3 parties and y'all didn't invite me. I totally get it. It's so interesting. At first I was upset about that. And then I realized like, I'm not sure if this is intentional or it's callous. I don't know if this particular person really wants this to happen. Sometimes I get some aggression from her. But what I really found, like, we're hanging out with this new group of people. They're so chill. They're very inclusive. They're very kind. And if you ever kind of feel excluded, by the way, like you can come and join us.
Powerful.
That's like a headshot to the female bully. You go to this other person, you say, hey, I have this other group of friends that's better. Because if
Basically, all you have to do is just live your best life and be happy without them. Usually, the whole point of bullying is just to kind of put someone down, right? They just want you to feel like shit because they feel like shit. So basically, if you just live your best life and you just do you and you're fine, unbothered, hydrated, existing with other people, even if it's just you, you're fine. That's what they hate. That's what bullies usually hate.
if the female bully is bullying you, they're going to bully other people too. The last thing that you can do that sometimes is quite effective is share feelings that other people, including the bully, can resonate with. So this isn't blaming them. This is really important to understand. But when you share with a bully in a non-emotional way, what effect this is having on you, sometimes the bullies will actually stop. There are studies at schools that show that this can be helpful, right? Hey, when you forget to invite me, I still feel isolated and alone. I feel like I don't have friends that care about me. Because oftentimes female bullies are not sociopaths, right? They actually do care about other people. A lot of this stuff is kind of subconscious. And then you do something really interesting. You give them the opportunity to extend the hand of friendship. And then they can feel good about including you. So it's kind of weird, but something about sharing your experience in a way that can trigger empathic concern can be effective at disarming
I ain't got
the bully.
time for
now,
that.
we're giving you a lot of these options because
I just
not
move
all of this
on.
stuff will necessarily work, right? So that's why we have to think about all these different options. So do I want to strengthen my social skills? Do I want to share my experience of this? Do I want to be witty? Do I want to form bonds with other people? And make sure you don't fall into the missteps, blaming the bully for what they're doing, because it's all great. So if you blame them, then you've fallen into their trap. Female bullying is absolutely a real problem. It's a problem that I don't think we talk about enough. I think since we don't talk about it enough, it's actually getting worse. Because female bullying and indirect aggression are so outweighed, male aggression, physical violence, and things like that, that it doesn't get enough time in the spotlight. And what this means is that the people who use these abusive behaviors are like running free because no one is talking about it, right? So if you look at statistics on intimate partner violence, the likelihood for a woman over the course of her lifetime to be abused by a man is about 37.3%. The likelihood for a man to be abused by a woman is about 30.9%. So things are worse for women than they are for men. And at the same time, just because breast cancer is more common than testicular cancer doesn't mean that we should take all the people who have testicular cancer and say, hey, screw you. Right? So we want to educate everyone about
That'd be wild.
We want to protect ourselves against male aggression. We want to protect ourselves against physical aggression. And we want to protect ourselves against female bullying. And we want to protect ourselves against indirect aggression, which, by the way, men can employ as well. So my hope is that this video is helpful to y'all. What actually inspired this video was a woman on our subreddit saying, hey, I'm being bullied by women. I don't know what to do. It's an exceedingly common experience. And so my hope today is that we've given y'all some insight into understanding how female bullying works. Men can do it too. We can also call it indirect aggression. Once you have the roadmap of it, first thing to realize is that, yes, it's really happening, right? So half of the armament of the female bully is gaslighting you into believing it's not real. And once you realize, yes, it is happening, understand this three-hit combo. Isolation, moving you into the gray zone, triggering an emotional response, followed by the knockout punch, which is retaliatory humiliation. Oh my God, can't you see how crazy she is? We forget to invite her once. She's so unstable. I don't want to hang out with people like that, because now you've given them license. So for those of you that are struggling with female bullying, I really hope this helps you. Remember that this form of indirect aggression can also be done by a man. And please let us know, like, how y'all feel about this, right? Is this helpful? Are there more things that y'all want to go into? Do you want to share your experiences in the comments? All that stuff is good. So thank y'all very much for listening today, and I hope it helps. And remember, not all women are evil.
You hear that, guys? Not all women are evil, just like not all men are trash. You heard it here. Some people can only be happy when others are suffering. That is very true, and it's sad. It's like, please get a fucking life. Like, why? Ugh. I've experienced both kinds at least. The dudes just hit me with the women manipulated the fuck out of me. Oh no. I'm so sorry, Meg. Oh no. Meowie's not evil. Mwahaha. Nyeh. Mwaha. Mwah. What are you talking about, Nair? I'm so evil. Mwahaha. Nyeh. Lies? Lies and fabrications? No way! Turns out some people are just bad. Exactly. There's always gonna be bad apples in every crowd. Unfortunately. You know, the world's not perfect. This explains why the M Squad excludes me. You're not a part of the M Squad! What do you mean? You're the one trying to self-insert. I can't believe this, man. Meowie's not evil. Wahaha. I'm so evil. The eviliest. Most evil. Evil. Okay. Meowie tries to be evil. It's so cute. One day I'm gonna hit you guys with the most villainous fucking laugh. One day I'm just gonna practice, like hidden in the shadows, my villain laugh. And then I'm gonna hit you guys one day on stream with it. And y'all gonna be like, the fuck? And I'm gonna be like, yeah. Meowie right after the video. I can believe it. Wow, Meowie. Please no, I'll cry. Tell us when you're not bright as pink. Meowie's so evil. It's in her first name. Yeah, exactly. Dude, where's that statistic? Hold up. Come on. I just want to put it on screen. Where is it? Am I tripping? Come on. I don't remember if it was early in the beginning or in the middle. My life's hard, guys. Never mind, I don't want to look for it anymore. It hurts. Where is it? Oh god, this frame
Everyone
scares
else
me.
is gonna.
We're just gonna pause at this. All I found is standing with the victim. Hello, Griathan. Hello. What are you on about? He is the mule logs? No. The M Squad was made between Maple, Minnie, Miwa, and me. There was never the dual logs. Okay. I can't believe this. I am a victim of gerbullying by the M Squad SMH. I can't believe this, man. What are you talking about? This man just wants to start fights for no fucking reason. There was no bullying to begin with when all you do is bully all of the girls secretly, equally. I can't. Not Maddie. Oh, but Maddie's precious. Mince is like a special how do I say this? He's a special case, okay? Cause y'all cute, maybe? Maddie and Mince, honorary members. Who was it? Didn't Maddie make like a whole resume as to why he's fully capable of joining the M Squad? Was it Maddie? I think Maddie had a whole resume. I was like, yo, that's crazy. You're stinky, Ghoulish. You're stinky. God, this whole video was very triggering though. Like I said, with chat earlier, I'm like, I'm okay. I'll be honest. I'll be very transparent. I am kind of scared to usually openly talk about the times that I have been personally bullied and targeted by women. Just because the times that I have spoken up about it, I have been shut down by people being like, oh, but that's just pretty privilege. And I'm like, that's not really validating for how I feel. Like, this isn't about my looks. This is about genuinely how I'm being treated and how I feel. And like, a lot of the situations just sucked, you know? And so from the times that people have literally told me, "Oh, it's because you're attractive, you have pretty privilege." I'm like, but I have feelings though. I just want to talk about how it's fucked up and it sucks that, you know, that I've been hurt like this before. And it's happened on more than one occasion too. I'm just like, they're just jealous. No, well, it's guys have also told me that too. I've been invalidated by some guys as well. Some guy friends that I've openly talked to about this stuff. They're just like, "Oh, it's because you're pretty privileged." And then there's no, what is it? What is it called? Reassurance. I've had good reassurance after, you know, someone has been like, "Oh, it's because you're attractive," and then there's like the bad conversations where they're just like, "It's because you're attractive," blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing reassuring about it, and it's like, ugh, okay. Or they just tell me to kind of just deal with it because, you know, at least you're attractive. They have something that you want. And I'm like, I don't care. I think they're attractive. Like, what? However they see me, I'm like, I probably don't see myself that way, you know, which is kind of crazy. I'm like, I just see myself as a person. Listening is a hard trait to gain. It is absolutely a skill. Listening is 500% a skill that can be learned. A lot of people are actually pretty bad at listening, believe it or not. Hello, Kevin. Hello, hello. Not to take away from the current discussion, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Do you need a break before the next video? ADHD in women? I can just stretch. I can do my simple stretches. And then scroll through chat to see if I miss anything. So what, just because you're conventionally attractive does that mean you're without feelings? That's what I'm saying. You should get petty and fight in the mud with them. The fuck is this, Logs? What? I don't want to fight in the mud. Being pretty does not make bullying them valid. I think it's insane because, like, I think a lot of the women that have made me feel very invalidated and small, they were so attractive. Or like the ones that would exclude me, they're so attractive. I'm like, what? Am I saying something wrong? Am I just not fitting in? Like, what? Like, what? Let's see. Ilnum, thank you for checking in. Prankster, thank you for checking in. Sunny, thank you for checking in. Oh, for sure, thank you for checking in. Kevin, thank you for checking in and paying your taxes. Okay, let me drink water. Thank you, Jed. I drink water. Iced coffee time. Ooh, I love iced coffee. I always enjoy iced coffee over hot coffee. Have a good time drinking iced coffee. Invalidating people's struggles by pointing out that they have privilege turns the privilege itself upside down. Very, very true. I'm pretty sure I beat up the only bully I had. Tried to anyway. Yo, catching hands. They either get jealous or competitive. Meowie. Yeah, that's what people have told me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to compete in anything. Because I think how my guy friends would gas me up. Because I used to get invited all the time to go out to like drinking and to clubs, right? And of course, if I'm gonna go out to public spaces like that, I'm not gonna wear what I wear at home. You know, I'm gonna fix myself. Like, I'm gonna put makeup on, I'm gonna fix my hair, I'm gonna wear a poppin' fucking outfit, right? Like, I genuinely do my makeup, my hair, and I wear what outfits I wear because it makes me happy. And it's not to impress other people, it's more for myself. And I explained this to Vince because I usually have to apologize sometimes to him when I take a little bit too long getting ready to go out and stuff. But I'm like, the reason why I sometimes like getting ready to go out for certain occasions is because when I feel like I look my best, I'm more social in public settings. Like I'm more talkative, I'm more extroverted because I'm naturally introverted. I am actually very introverted. I sound like I'm extroverted, but my battery is very, very small. Very, very small. So when I feel good about myself, aka like, fixing myself, dressing myself, fixing my hair, it makes me feel good and it makes me want to be more talkative. That's my logic. So every time my guy friends would be like, oh, it's because you look so good when you go out. I'm like, but I'm dressing for myself. I do it because like it makes me feel good and it makes me want to be social and it makes me want to talk to people. It just makes me happy. I'm pretty sure there's other women that are like that out there. Those people are just insecure. You're a lot more feminine. Something guys like a lot. Am I considered feminine? I do have very feminine parts, I guess. You introverted? No. Hey, you'd be surprised when people hear that I'm introverted. They're like, "You're introvert?" I'm like, "Yeah." Just because I talk extroverted doesn't mean I'm extroverted, I have a very short battery. Leave me alone. I need recharge time. Don't talk to me. I'm dying. Stop leeching from me. I need recharge time. If I'm in a big group, I need at least a few days to recharge. Oh gosh, me too. I was so socially dead after TwitchCon, and then my period happened, so it made everything worse. I was like, uh-oh, I'm dying now. I'm actually dying. I die. Goodbye. And now my allergies suck ass. I'm like, okay, well, that's lovely. That's wonderful. One of my exes described the makeup as her armor. Ooh, that's a really good way to put it. Armor sounds good. It just makes me feel good about myself because I'm not gonna put on makeup at home for myself unless maybe I'm having a really bad day and I just want to cheer myself up or something. Then I'll be like, okay, I guess I'll kind of fix myself, whatever, even if I'm not going anywhere. But for the most part, I get ready because it makes me feel good. Genuinely. Definitely an introvert. Oh, I am definitely introverted. I'd be like, I am tired. Good night, guys. I always think back like how I used to always go out with my friends. You guys want to hear the funny stories? Some of the funny stories and situations I was put in. So I used to get random text messages. Fuck you! Not you cucking my story! Nice. You want to know how all of like my best friends, my IRL best friends got me to go out often? You want to know how and why they were like this? Majority of them, and I mean majority of them are actually extroverted. I know. No fucking surprise. You know how they got me to fucking crawl out and go out places with them or do things? They'd be like, "Hey, did you want to go grab boba with us?" And I'd respond and be like, "Oh yeah, sure. What time?" And it's already like late in the evening, basically nighttime. And they're like, "Oh, we're already outside." Like they're already there to pick me the fuck up. And I'm like, "What the no!" I'm like, "You guys are waiting out there until I am done getting ready." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I hated that so much. This is when we all used to live in the same city together. But they would literally just already be in front of my place and be like, "Oh, we're already here." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Or they'd be like, "Hey, so we got you your ticket to this. You want to go?" I'm like, "Ugh, okay. You know, it's one of the things where I'm like, okay, sure. Or they'll just somehow persuade me. And those are the times too when I used to drink a lot of alcohol, and alcohol makes me a lot more extroverted. So, ha ha, ha. That's how I survived. Alcohol. I am not about that anymore. My meds prevent me from drinking alcohol like that. Thank you for the biddies, Augie. I guess. Those are the fun ones. Oh, my poor introverted self. I'm like, oh, okay. Give me like 15 minutes to get ready. They didn't give you a choice. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I were to say no, they would be okay with just being like, okay. They're silly. I love them. Priyetan, thank you for checking in earlier. I'm just naturally extroverted. Yeah, remember that one subathon you had where you needed me for like 3 hours and you drained me so you can feel alive again? Yeah, that was fucking awful. Okay, let's see. We can watch one more. Technically, there's 2 more videos. There's one about the ADHD is different for women, and the other one is about the dysthymia. I don't know how to say it. I'm only gonna watch one of them because I want to eat dinner in like an hour, and roughly both of these videos are around 30 something minutes. We can watch the ADHD different for women one. I think that one would be very insightful because studies lean more towards ADHD in boys and men rather than girls and women because women show very different symptoms and signs of ADHD compared to boys and men. So I think this would be a very, very great video. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Let's watch this one.
And to dismiss
Shut
these
up, wait. No, shut up. Are you guys ready to learn about more things related to women? But now ADHD. I'm pretty sure he'll talk about like ADHD in boys and guys and then make like comparisons to women. I think that's one of the logical ways to go about this.
symptoms of emotional dysregulation. And at this point,
Wait, back.
so the first thing that we tend to see, which is very, very common, is we tend to attribute certain features of ADHD to sort of feminine failings. And this even gets worse during puberty when we'll oftentimes see the manifestation of ADHD more. And one of the key manifestations of ADHD is actually emotional dysregulation.
Remember that time when we met in person, I said you were very clean and hugged you with no issue? Shut the fuck up, he's lying.
It's her time of the month. So we tend to dismiss these symptoms of emotional dysregulation. And at this point, the concept of ADHD has been removed from most people's brains, right? So your parents aren't really looking for a brand new ADHD diagnosis when you're 15. Today, we're going to talk about ADHD in women. And this is an incredibly important topic because when we think about ADHD, we're all aware of certain impairments. So we know that kids with ADHD may need a little bit more time to take tests or maybe a little bit distractible. They may be hyperactive and fidgety. But it turns out that the manifestation of ADHD in women is actually quite different. And furthermore, there are so many difficulties that women with ADHD face that we don't think of as parts of ADHD. In fact, we as a society tend to judge these women very, very harshly for being a bad woman. So just as an example,
Am I a bad woman?
People with ADHD struggle with organization, right? So like we know that if you've got ADHD, it's hard to stay organized. It's hard to stick to a plan. You're always running late. And so that's a common problem that everyone with ADHD faces. Now, when you look at someone who's a woman, this person has additional expectations in life. So mothers are expected to pack their kids' lunches, make sure their school forms are signed, make sure their kids are always on time to school.
To be a mom.
There's so many maternal or female-specific duties that we expect of women that we don't really accommodate for if you have ADHD. So it turns out that ADHD is very, very devastating in women. Women with ADHD are much more likely to suffer from domestic abuse. They're much more likely to suffer from or struggle with divorce or single parenting. And so there are so many...
No! Say it ain't so! Is he saying I'm gonna get divorced? No! No! I don't want to get abused. I'll fucking fight them back, bro. We about to box. Vince, see you at Disneyland, bitch. We boxing. Meet you at the... What the fuck is the castle called at Disneyland? I don't remember what the castle's called. Meet me at the Mickey statue, bro.
Any manifestations of ADHD
Does dying
that
result
are
in a
gender-specific
divorce?
that we
No.
absolutely have to dive into them. Hey, y'all, if you're interested in applying some of the principles that we discuss
Oh,
to your
shit.
life to actually create change, check
Ad
out Dr.
incoming.
K's Guide to Mental Health. The
I
guide
love his
synthesized
ads.
my years of training as a monk, along with years of clinical experience as a psychiatrist, to cover common
Cinderella's
topics like
Castle.
meditation,
Thank
ADHD,
ya.
and trauma. The guides include over 100 additional videos that can
Oof,
be navigated
sorry you have to
based
get a
on your
divorce?
needs or
Oh my
interests,
gosh.
or in a more open, choose-your-own-adventure format. The guides are now available in the YouTube store below, and if they're a little bit outside of your price point,
Why do
you
I
can check
kinda
out
want
a
it?
piece of them with our free resource packs, which are also linked
Should I do
below.
it for
So definitely
science?
check them out. So if we want to understand this, we have to start with the original diagnosis of
Meowy's
ADHD.
my favorite
So this is kind of
glitcher.
crazy, but when we first developed diagnostic criteria for
here we go.
ADHD, this was in the DSM, the original Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Basically, a group of people sat down and figured out, okay, what are the diagnostic criteria for ADHD? And this original study, where they were figuring out what are the diagnostic criteria for ADHD, was done exclusively in
boys.
European boys. So
Yeah.
from the get-go, in our diagnosis of ADHD, it is biased towards men. And we see that
Yeah.
because boys are 3 times as likely to be diagnosed with ADHD as girls. The diagnosis is so much more common in boys.
Who in chat
And why is this? It's
is a
because
guy with ADHD.
hyperactivity is one of the key features that leads to diagnosis.
You are
So
part
let's
of
take a
this.
step back and think about, how does a kid get a diagnosis of ADHD?
I'm normal.
It's not
Shut
like you
up.
wake up one day and you're like, let me take my kid to get a neuropsychological evaluation. That's not what happens.
Hello,
So what happens
Pazzander.
is you start with parents or teachers who are frustrated with a kid because the kid won't sit still. The kid is disruptive. The kid won't sit down at the dinner table and actually eat their food. The kid won't sit there
Dude,
and
this
pay
is
attention in
Vince.
class.
He
So we
told me
get
his childhood.
complaints. So
I
there's
was like,
some kind of
bro.
difficulty that usually starts the path of
I'm
diagnosis.
so sorry.
And most of this
Your
difficulty
parents-
relates to hyperactivity.
I had to go
so this is
through
a
this
kid who
with you.
literally won't still. So their physical manifestations of ADHD make it difficult
that's not
to do
normal?
whatever we're supposed to be
No.
doing. Now, this is the first big difference between boys and girls. So girls tend to not be nearly as hyperactive. They're far more inattentive, so they have sort of inattention in their brain, which the boys will have too, but you won't see external signs. So young girls with ADHD won't be disruptive because we're also socialized, or y'all are socialized as girls, to not be a nuisance and be polite and be respectful of others and be a good little girl and sit in your chair and do your work. So these girls tend to experience a lot of inattention. And they also
That's
get
me.
described as things like spacey, right? So there are some girls, oh, she's a little
That's
bit of an airhead. She's
me.
forgetful. Ha, ha, ha. Little clueless girl, little blonde, right? Like, oh my God, like it's not
Oh,
that
the
big of a deal.
times I've
She's
been
just
called
spacey.
blonde.
So the first thing that we tend to
I'd be
see, which
so
is very, very
rich.
common, is we tend to attribute certain features of ADHD to sort of feminine failings. And this even gets worse during puberty, when we'll oftentimes see the manifestation of ADHD more. And one of the key manifestations of ADHD is actually emotional dysregulation. But hey, guess what? If you're a 14-year-old
need
girl
more
and you are
exercise.
going
That's
through
actually
puberty
true.
and your emotions are dysregulated, are people going to say, oh my God, this girl is honestly suffering from a lot of problems. Maybe she needs mental health support.
It's
That's
me,
not what we say at
bestie.
all. She's menstruating. She's on her period.
Oh,
It's her
no.
time of the month. So we tend
Oh.
to dismiss these symptoms of emotional dysregulation.
So true, bestie.
Which is absolutely what we see in women with ADHD. So let's take
me.
a quick look at some of the literature, and we'll kind of see this firsthand. How are the symptoms of girls with ADHD or women with ADHD
reading.
different? So, such as hypertalkativeness, high arousal, fidgeting, flight of thoughts, internal restlessness,
High
and emotional
arousal.
reactivity. So, if you see a girl who talks a lot, is very interested in things, is a little bit fidgety, her thoughts bounce all over the place, and she's emotional, would we
Chat, don't lie. Is this me? Chat, everything he just fucking listed, say it ain't so. Is this me? Wait, go back. Can I hear that list one more time? Hold up.
high arousal, fidgeting, flight of thoughts, internal
Hold up.
restlessness, and emotional reactivity. So if you see a girl who talks a lot, is very interested in things, is a little bit fidgety. Her thoughts bounce all over the place, and she's emotional. Would we say, oh my God, this young girl is struggling with
It's me, isn't it? It hurts so much. It's even worse that I'm introverted because you would think, wow, how can someone that talks so fucking much be introverted? I don't fucking know, bro.
ADHD.
It'd be
She
easier if
needs
I was
our help.
extroverted.
No, that's not what we're gonna say. What we're gonna say is, in women, these symptoms are often interpreted as signs of emotional difficulties. Yeah, she has difficulty during the time of her menstruation. You know, it's just her time of the month. Disciplinary
hate us.
problems and learning or attention difficulties rather than symptoms of ADHD. Yeah, she's not just as good of a girl as all of the other girls, and yeah, it's just her being spacey. This is literally what we see in ADHD. So we also see that girls or women with ADHD manifest different kinds of symptoms. So let's take a look at another paper that sort of highlights the gender differences in phenotypic expression. Identify that girls with ADHD are less likely than boys to manifest a comorbid disruptive behavior. So this is oftentimes what leads to diagnosis. Girls with ADHD aren't as disruptive. They're less likely to have a learning disability, less likely to engage in rule breaking or externalizing behaviors, because this is how boys with ADHD get diagnosed. And so if girls aren't exhibiting this, the likelihood...
You guys, would any of you guys believe me if I told you I was a goody two-shoes? I was very much a goody two-shoes in school. I hated getting in trouble. I hated anything that related to me ever being called out and getting in trouble with higher authority. How long ago was this? All the way back since I was a wee little kitty. Since I was a kid, you guys. I've been like this since elementary. And then, yeah, all the way from like elementary and high school. College is a different story. I think that's when I just started just fucking around and finding out. But you know, a good chunk of my life, goody two shoes. But I've always been kind of spacey. Sorry, thank you for checking pay your taxes. I got in trouble all the time. Dude, when I would hear like guys that I know that have ADHD, like for example, Vince, when he would tell me his childhood stories too, Vince was naughty. He would get in trouble and just do certain things, even though he was quiet kid too. He would still break some rules, and I'm like, what? I was the opposite. Vince did, yeah. Vince was little bad boy, but he was also shy.
that they get diagnosed is way less. So what we find in girls is that they may exhibit higher levels of inattentiveness, internalizing symptoms, or comorbid conditions. Separation anxiety, general anxiety, eating disorders, and depression, right? So let's think about that for a second. When girls have ADHD, they are more likely to manifest with other kinds of comorbid conditions. So boys are more likely to have disruptive externalizing behaviors, oppositional defiant disorder, conduct disorder, rule breaking, this kind of stuff.
That's Vince.
Whereas girls are more likely to have problems like eating disorders, more likely to have separation anxiety, right?
Oh, that's
and if
me.
there's like a 10-year-old girl
I'm the separation
who doesn't want to
anxiety.
go to school,
That's me.
we don't say, oh my God, this girl may be struggling with ADHD. We say, oh my God, she's such a soft-hearted little soul. Look at how much she loves her mommy and daddy. You got to be a strong girl to go to school. We have to be big grown-up boss babes. Let's go. You can do it, my darling. I love you. And this is what
I actually
leads
had
to
no problem
crippling
going to school.
self-esteem. Because just like boys with ADHD, girls with ADHD who...
Dude, did I ever tell you guys the story of when I got lost? You know when Toys R Us was a thing, right? I remember I was with my parents in Toys R Us. Tell me, oh, it's mental clock. Okay, let me turn off my meds timer as I tell the story. I got separated from my parents for just, I want to say barely like a minute or so, because I went to go check out a toy on like an aisle. And when I go back to the aisle that I thought they were on, they weren't there. So I started fucking crying, dog. I was literally fucking crying. I was in shambles. And then this like poor woman that was like, oh my God, where's your parents? She was trying to help me. And then here comes my fucking parents with the shopping cart. They come around the corner and they're just like, what's wrong with you? They're just like, why are you crying? And I'm like, what? Dude, I was literally in shambles. My parents were laughing that I was crying. Literally, I remember till this day, my mom fucking laughing in my face. She literally was like, we were just right there. Why are you crying? Dog, it was just, I can't. I just, I will never forget that shit. It was so embarrassing. Oh, one time my dad drove off without me. Oh, no. No. I really hope your dad came back. Oh, I need to take my meds before I forget. Dude, the woman that like found me too and thought I was completely lost and separated, it was like this sweet older like white woman, and she was just like, oh my God, where are your parents? Let's go find them. And then here come my fucking parents around the corner laughing at me. Dude, she was like, oh, are these your parents? And I was just crying and like not feeling, yeah. I just, oh my God. It's so hard being me. It's so hard being me. I laugh it off because I genuinely think it's so fucking funny. I laugh it off just like the IHOP story. Do you guys remember the IHOP story? Isn't there a mozzarella fucking command in here? I almost died to a fucking mozzarella cheese stick at IHOP. I laugh at that story just as much as the Toys R Us story. No, tell us. No, it's humiliating. It is so fucking humiliating. Was it spoiled? No. Okay, quick to really wrap up the story pretty fast. I was eating a mozzarella stick and I didn't properly chew it. And I swallowed it, right? And the cheese like was stretched out to where when I was swallowing it, it got fucking lodged in my throat. And I literally couldn't breathe. And like luckily during the time, my aunt, she was like trained to do like the actual proper like what's it called? What's the maneuver called? Heimlich maneuver? I forgot how to say it, but she was doing that shit on me. And I remember putting like my half-eaten mozzarella stick on the table, and I just see my younger sister grab the rest of the mozzarella stick while I'm choking and dying, and everyone at IHOP is like gasping and like waiting for me to fucking live. And I just see my sister eat the leftover mozzarella stick while I'm dying. Literally, I'm dying. Eyes fucking teary, choking, coughing, and my aunt is literally trying to make sure I don't die. Till this day, I think about that memory and I'm like, dude, life is so hard as a kid. That shit's crazy. At least it wasn't wasted. Dude, I think about it because my sister was just, she was living her best life. She just wanted the mozzarella stick and she fucking ate it while I was dying. That shit was so funny. Oh my God. I had to do that on my little brother once when he choked, and he still talks about it sometimes. Dude, we never forget that shit. It just lives forever with us. Food all above, your poor little sister didn't know any better. I know, and that's what makes it funny. Because I think back and I'm like, dude, I literally could have died. Everyone stopped eating at that IHOP and was just staring. And when when I spat out the leftover mozzarella that was stuck in my throat, everyone started clapping. Dude, that shit was ridiculous. I'm like, bro, what? Everyone started clapping. Dude, it was, I'm not kidding. People started clapping because my aunt saved me. Shit's wild.
Get told.
Shout out to our waitress that day.
Harder,
she gave me extra water.
Effort, if you just apply yourself a little bit more, if you do all of these things that are effort-based, then these problems would not exist. But the whole problem with ADHD is that they aren't effort-based. There is neurodiversity at play. So the way that this girl's brain is wired is different, which makes it impossible or very difficult to do things that neurotypical girls can do. But we don't treat girls that way. which is why one of the manifestations
parents
that
want
we
me to
see with
cough it out.
ADHD is
Oh.
crippling self-esteem. And
I'm
that
glad
too,
you're
we
alive.
sort
Oh,
of
I
is like
see.
a more of a feminine characteristic. In society, we
Chad's
sort of
alive.
acknowledge, right, that like girls sometimes have self-esteem problems, and it's because of things like the way that they dress, and because of thigh gaps, and because of makeup, and because of Botox, and we have all this crap that gives girls self-esteem problems. And so then
True.
we are doing these girls with ADHD a huge disservice, because when they have self-esteem problems, we don't consider that it's ADHD. We consider that it's this pile of other stuff, like unrealistic feminine beauty standards, which I'm not saying that those aren't real problems. My issue is that as a clinician, when I work with women with ADHD, it's that so many features of the ADHD get attributed to other things because we don't take this as a clinical concept in women seriously. And so let's take a quick look at some of the consequences of misdiagnosis or missed diagnosis on young women. Okay, so we see a diminished self-image and self-esteem. We talked about that. Less developed or underdeveloped interpersonal sensitivity skills and awareness of relationship dynamics. We're going to dive into relationships a lot. Decreased information processing skills, inability to plan and organize effectively without feeling overwhelmed, and
that's
increased
me.
emotional reactivity.
That's
Now
me.
we're beginning to see that if you are a woman with ADHD, it isn't just the standard stuff that we're aware of, like difficulty at school or difficulty at work, where people may give you accommodations. The real struggle with women with ADHD is that there is a societal set of expectations which ADHD makes it almost impossible to achieve. And so we're going to focus a little bit more on that. So I kind of got off track. Let's go back to why diagnosis is different. So let's dive into the biology of ADHD in women, because this is also different. So we have to
Hello,
understand this, okay?
Zane.
So let's go back to this concept of misdiagnosis, right? Because this leads to a lot of the problems that women face. So why is diagnosis so different? So hyperactivity is a huge piece of it. But another piece is that girls do mature faster than boys. So if we look at sort of gray matter studies in the
shit.
brain, so these are studies that are looking at brain volumes and how capable boys versus girls are, what we see is that the maturity of an 11-and-a-half-year-old boy is something that a girl achieves around age 10. So when we're sort of looking at the bar for what a kid should be able to do, like how long
that's
should
just
a
an
kid
extra
be able to sit
year.
still? A 10-year-old boy will say, okay, they should be able to sit still for an hour. The challenge is that since all of our diagnosis is based on male standards, what happens is we have girls who are 1 year older in terms of brain development, but they're with a group of kids who are all like 10 years old, right? So you have a girl who has an 11-year-old brain who is in a group with all of these 10-year-olds. So this is why we miss ADHD, because this girl should be operating at an 11-year-old level, but that's not the way that we judge her. We judge her as if she's 1 year younger because that's like her brain is supposed to mature faster. I don't know if this kind of makes sense, but basically what goes on is since girls mature faster than boys do, since their brain literally develops more rapidly in some ways than boys do, they're effectively 1 year older. And that 1 year of additional brain development masks the impairments of ADHD.
Oh, no.
Because we're comparing an 11-year-old brain with ADHD to a bunch of 10-year-olds. And that kind of balances out. So we see a big misdiagnosis there. Now, there's also a huge hormonal and biological component.
Oh, no.
So this is a huge tragedy in psychiatry that we tend to think of
ready to
mental
be
illness
attacked.
is static, right? Depression is depression is depression. Anxiety is anxiety, anxiety. ADHD is ADHD is ADHD. But the more that we're learning about the biology of mental illness, the more we're realizing that there is a hormonal component.
Yes, bestie.
So whereas a man may experience ADHD uniformly all 30 days of the month and 365 days of the year, there is a baseline fundamental fluctuation in women's attentional symptoms and experiences like emotions and things like that that are hormonally based. So we're going to dive into that a little bit, okay?
Oh,
So
boy.
the first thing to understand is that when women go through puberty, we see a surge of estrogen. Now, this is what's really interesting. When we see a
Estrogen.
surge of estrogen, what we also see is an upregulation of dopamine receptors and sensitivity in
Okay.
other parts of the brain. So a young girl has less dopamine sensitivity than a girl in puberty, and this is an estrogen effect, which is
Okay.
why we see something that's really, really interesting. If you look at the rates of adult diagnosis
sensitive to
between men and women,
estrogen.
it is 1 to 1. but boys to girls is 3 to 1. So why the difference?
How do I
Why
know
is it that
this?
an adult
I tried
woman
birth
is
control and my
just as
body
likely to
didn't
be
like it.
diagnosed with ADHD as an adult man? And that's because as we actually go through puberty, that estrogen increases and we see more dopamine sensitivity. Once we see dopamine sensitivity, then we see the emergence of a lot more classical ADHD symptoms. So we'll see things like more impulsivity, right? So remember, young girls are
Can relate,
inattentive
shut
or
up.
spacey, whereas once they start hitting puberty, they become more impulsive.
Try to shut off your
They're more
captions
likely
on my
to
screen.
engage in
You're
high-risk
doing your
sexual
best.
behavior. They're more likely to be sensitive to dopaminergic things like substances and stuff like that. So it seems like something happens during puberty where the brain increases its sensitivity to dopamine, which in turn creates a lot of the more traditional ADHD symptoms. Now, this doesn't quite work itself out beautifully because at this point, right, you're like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, or even 15-year-old girl. And there are studies that show that girls with ADHD start to hit puberty later or they develop more slowly. So now we're talking about a 15-year-old who's like really starting to hit puberty. And at this point, the concept of ADHD has been removed from most people's brains, right? So your parents aren't really looking for a brand new ADHD diagnosis when you're 15. So there are a lot of other challenges that lead to misdiagnosis. The other thing that tends to happen around the time of puberty is that estrogen also increases the sensitivity to our internal emotional state. So women are more likely to experience internalizing symptoms. They're more likely to experience things like anxiety, depression, eating disorders, which we already looked at. Right? So we see a lot of these things start to emerge.
Oh, no.
And once again, if you're a 15-year-old girl going through puberty and you start to get concerned about your body and you're not happy with your appearance and you're anxious about going to the beach, how are most people going to judge you? Are they going to say, oh my God, this is a girl with ADHD who needs our help. She needs help and support. No, it is just the standard experience of being a young woman in the world, which is tragic in and of itself. But now we're setting ourselves up for a huge failure because we are not intervening in the right way. We are just saying this is the vagaries of the world that we live in. This is a misogynistic society. This is a feminine beauty standard. These are all these kinds of things. And when we say these massive, grandiose, systemic problems, how does that result in helping an actual girl who's struggling? It doesn't. So this is a huge problem that we see in ADHD. Next thing that we're going to talk about is that there are some brain differences. So we know that, for example, the splenium, which is sort of the rear part of the corpus callosum in girls, is actually different compared to boys. So this is a part of the brain that involves information processing and sort of awareness of your current state. So this kind of once again leads to this spaciness that we see. A lot of girls also start to struggle with ADHD during their teen years because when you're a teenager, we expect girls to do a better job of staying organized, doing well in.
This is exactly what happened to me. Because I think up until, I want to say high school, I think once I hit like freshman in high school, that's when a lot of my more ADHD, I guess, symptoms started peaking because there were more expectations and higher demands in school. Because I think for the most part, I was like an A student, and then it slowly started becoming like B, C, maybe an A, depending on what class it is and how interested I am in it. But a lot of my ADHD stuff started coming out in high school and definitely in college. Oh my God.
In school, you got to be able to pack your bag. You got to be able to go to your extracurriculars on time. This is when girls start to become women. And when girls start to become women, we expect them to be organized, helpful, and all of this kind of stuff. And so we run into problems here, which result in this person not having ADHD, but being a bad woman, which is a huge part of ADHD. So once we end up with adult women, what we tend to find is that we judge these women incredibly harshly for failures of being a good woman. We don't even think about ADHD. I tried to plan ahead and get things started earlier, but I just couldn't do it. It was as if I needed the panic of not understanding something and knowing that I would get a test in it to get the adrenaline going so that I could get it done. It's extremely stressful, especially since you're also beating yourself up because you're thinking, how dumb, and here I did it again. Why can't I just do it ahead of time? Now, any person with ADHD will empathize with this experience. Why do I need this adrenaline and last-minute panic to really just get started?
True.
The challenge with women is that they have an additional layer of this. It's not just about the test. It's about planning your birthday party, planning your friend's birthday party, making sure that my divorced parents, my dad's fridge is stocked, right? Because we see a lot of parentification of girls into women, especially in single parent households where there's an adult male who is incapable of taking care of themselves. So these organizational difficulties start to pile on. One of the participants did not have academic problems, but struggled socially and particularly with regulating her emotions. I remember having temper tantrums that would scare me because I realized that I couldn't control them, and I didn't even know why I was so upset. Consistent with the literature on women with ADHD, inattention, disorganization, poor time management, motivational difficulties, and problems with planning and structuring daily tasks have resulted in significant academic, occupational, and psychological challenges for most of the women. In the absence, this is the key thing, in the absence of a better explanation, the women blamed their struggles on perceived personal flaws, such as laziness, lack of effort, and capability, which over time contributed to a negative self-image that followed several of the women into adulthood. This is going to become really important when we get to the treatment section, because it turns out evidence-based treatments of ADHD don't work so well in women. And this is part of the reason. Because the experience of women with ADHD is different. They're perceived not only as like academic challenges and professional challenges. Sure, we all are aware of ADHD, but there are so many personal failings, a lack of effort, a lack of organization. There are so many gendered constructs that we have where we expect so much from women, and women with ADHD fail at this stuff. So they conclude that they are not good women. And one prime example of this is in relationships. So it turns out that women with ADHD have specific challenges that are actually quite shocking in relationships.
Tell me.
In relationships, we expect women to do things like be emotionally available. Be the planners and organizers. Be the caretaker of the household. Make sure our fridge is stocked. Make sure the kids get to, extracurriculars on time. These are all gendered responsibilities. Sure, things are moving in the right direction and things are more 50-50 now, but we still, generally speaking, expect women to be able to do these things. And even I've worked with women who, because they have ADHD, struggle to do these things. And even if they have a supportive partner who's willing to shoulder the load, it still doesn't shake the judgment, right? So this is very important to understand. I don't know if a lot of dudes are going to really understand this, but what I've observed when I work with women, even when I look at my own wife, is that even if you're in a relationship with a man who's like 50-50, they help with the kids and stuff like that, it does not stop, especially the other women in your life, for judging you. Right? So you have these like stay-at-home moms or trad wives or whatever who, like, if your husband does half the work, they're going to look at you and be like, ugh, this person can't even handle this kind of stuff, right? This person needs help. She's not a good woman. The judgment is so cutting.
Awful.
It's like death from 1,000 cuts. I've seen this crap. It's so fucking toxic, right? We don't ever consider that, like, and there's also some weird amount of like jealousy there where like, oh yeah, you managed to marry a guy who actually fucking helps out in the household. I am so jealous of you, but I'm not allowed to be jealous of you. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to death by 1,000 cuts, and I'm going to slightly insult you at every opportunity that I can. And I'm going to shit talk you to all the people on our WhatsApp group because that makes me feel better about myself. It's so crazy that even the women who manage to solve this problem by getting help from their partner are so harshly judged by their mother-in-law, right? It's like such a mess.
That's so true,
So let's take a quick look at some of the research that sort of highlights some of this stuff. So another participant says that she began feeling the effects of ADHD-related challenges on self-esteem first as an adult, largely due to her problems mastering many of the skills that are involved in maintaining and building a good relationship. So we sort of assume that girls are capable of being good friends, but women with ADHD struggle with this as well. So we, women, been raised to take on a lot of responsibilities and make sure that things are okay, right? So this is important to understand. I want to pause here for a second. See, another big problem with women with ADHD is that the default responsibility is usually the woman's, right? So if you're a woman, like, and you're in a relationship with a man, you kind of know what I'm talking about, where like the man is going to be like, okay, I'm going to try to help out, right? So we're going to like, things are going to be 50-50. But if something falls through, it is your job as a woman. You take the cognitive responsibility. The cognitive load is what you bear. So even if you have a husband who goes to the grocery store, right? Like the man of the house rarely goes through your fridge, goes through your pantry, thinks about what the menu for the school is going to be for the next week, figures out which days your kids are going to eat school lunch and which days they're going to eat home lunch. There's all this cognitive load that defaults to the woman and then gets passed on in some way to the man, right? So then you do all this calculation as a woman, and then you give your husband a grocery list, and then they'll go and help out. So it's like, good job, bros. Like, we're not saying that you're doing a bad job, but let's remember that a lot of this responsibility, the subconscious or conscious responsibility for staying organized, falls to the woman. If the man makes a mistake, that's fair enough. They made a mistake, but that sort of defaults to the woman as a cognitive load. So let's keep going. And I think it can be extra challenging for women with ADHD, since women almost are expected to have an inborn ability to organize and maintain things in order.
No.
When I drop my daughter off at the daycare, I'm always late, and I can see what the teachers are thinking. People think you're a bad mother. And this is absolutely the experience of women with ADHD. Things became much harder for me when I became a mom because of the constant interruptions from my children. I remember being exhausted by the end of the day. Absolutely exhausted. There are so many things you have to do when you're a mom. At work, it was much easier because it was organized. If I had a problem, I would just call someone and get it fixed. While with kids, you can't do that. So much responsibility lied on me as a mother, which was stressful. So we tend to see that women have an additional challenge when they have ADHD when it comes to being a good mom, because you have to stay organized, and it's not like anyone is going to judge you less harshly. There's no accommodation, right? So if you're taking a test, cool, you get a letter from your psychiatrist, and your school is like, you can have 2 extra hours to take the test. Doesn't work for the rest of life. You don't have 2 extra hours to make sure your kid is on time for swim practice. You don't have 2 extra hours to make sure that your kids are organized and leave for school in the morning. So this is where there are some accommodations which we offer society, but these accommodations tend to be gender neutral, if not male favored. And there's a whole host of other problems that women face. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is relationships in ADHD. So this is where this is some of the most shocking stuff that I have ever seen, in scientific literature. We know that people with ADHD have relationship difficulties. The challenge is that the gendered expectations of men versus women and the way that ADHD intersects with them are far more forgiving for men than they are for women. Now, if you're a dude in the audience, chances are you will take issues with the statement. You will say, Dr. K, how dare you say this, because I am a man and I struggle in relationships with ADHD as well. I'm not saying that you don't struggle. I'm not trying to say that men have it easy.
Mental health
by
is
any means.
important.
I have to fucking say this every time I make any video about a gender or any
K,
related
how dare
thing.
you say
We're going to
this?
look at the data. So the challenge is that, once again, the gendered expectations that women have of what they bring to a relationship, those expectations are far harder to meet. There are gendered expectations that are hard for men to meet as well. For example, ADHD leads to lack of professional success, and men are expected to be the breadwinners. So it exists in men too, but this isn't a video about men. This is a video about
Not the
women. So
men
let's
in
look at the
chat.
gendered expectations of women. So women with ADHD really struggle in relationships. Because, first of all, they're expected to be emotionally available. They're expected to be calmer. They're expected to be the emotional caregivers in the relationship. But when your brain is struggling with emotional dysregulation,
Me.
when you have an estrogen-based increase in intensity from the shame that you feel for not being a good woman, when all of these things kind of pile on, and furthermore, when you do get emotional, it gets attributed to your period, or she's so emotional, she's a woman, or she's spacey, all this crap kinds of pile on, it leads to terrible outcomes. Nadeau and Quinn reported that these women are often less able to be consistent parents, or less able to manage their jobs and households, and are at higher risk for divorce and single parenting. So this is shocking. Nearly 60% of non-ADHD men had left their female partner with ADHD, compared to only 10% of non-ADHD women leaving their male partner with ADHD. And male partners with ADHD compared to female partners of men with ADHD reported significantly lower overall functioning. So what this means, if you're a woman with ADHD, and you're dating a dude who doesn't have ADHD, they're 60% likely to leave you in part because of your ADHD. Whereas if you flip the genders around, it's only 10%. Women recognize that dudes have ADHD. They're hyperactive. They can't sit still, whatever. And for what?
All men leave. Men are ruthless. No. Women are queens. Good thing I have ADHD. Yeah, you can't leave now, bro.
Whatever reason, they're less likely to leave their partner. But if you flip the scenario around, it's actually 60% of men who do not have ADHD will leave a partner in partially due to their ADHD. Like, that is staggering, right? This is not a benign gender difference. This is something that we absolutely have to consider. Right? This is a challenge that so many women face with ADHD. It's not just that it's hard to succeed academically. It's not just that it's hard to succeed professionally. It's that the risk of divorce and single parenting are way higher. And it is harder to be a good parent. It's harder to be a good mother because you struggle with organizational skills. But this isn't the end of it, right? So this is the most shocking statistic.
That's one of my worst fears with becoming a mom.
If you're a woman who's born today or alive today, you have a 6.3% chance to suffer from intimate partner violence, okay? So there's it's bad, right? It's like men are, I think, less likely to suffer from it. But the key thing here is that you have a 6% chance. So that means that 94% of women are going to be okay when it comes to intimate partner violence. Like, that's not a good statistic. It should be 0, but like, it is what it is.
It really should be.
Here's the crazy thing. If you're a woman with ADHD, 30.7%. 30.7%. It is a five-fold increase. 1 out of 3 women with ADHD suffer from intimate partner violence. This is insane. Women with ADHD are more likely to get pregnant, more likely to have STIs, right? Because let's be honest, boys don't like to use condoms. Boys with ADHD especially don't like to use condoms.
Wrap your wee-wees.
Women with ADHD, it's difficult to remember to use a condom, right? And this is the key thing: is we'll tell women, just use a condom, bruh. But the whole point is that
this only applies to people in the USA, right? I believe they're talking about the US population.
Make it harder to remember. Remember that dopamine sensitivity that increased during estrogen.
What if I never just do it?
You know, getting into stuff,
okay,
like I'm sure that the hormones are flowing there too, right? So we have an increased sensitivity to dopamine, which means we don't really think about the consequences of our actions. Creates such problems.
That's true. I'm very impulsive,
this is a huge challenge that women with ADHD really struggle with relationships. And now y'all are probably wondering, okay, Dr. K, what do we do about this? And this is where I'm sad to say that I don't have like 4 tips, right? I can't say, oh, just sign up for coaching and everything will be fine. Just get Dr. K's guide to whatever the fuck, and then you'll be okay. No, there is no easy answer to this. And not only is there no easy answer, the answers that we have don't work well for women. So this is a paper that is looking at female-specific concerns in ADHD, okay? So let's look at treatment. Although boys showed better response to a combined behavioral and medication protocol or medication-only protocol compared with community care, only the...
Stop that. Loggy! Not the... Thank you so much for the 100 biddies just to say you wrap your wee-wee with loneliness. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
The combined treatment was more effective than community care for girls. Thus, although medication alone may be an effective treatment for boys, girls seem to need behavioral interventions as well. So when we think about evidence-based treatment for ADHD, we tend to think medication, right? So I have ADHD. What should you do? Go see a psychiatrist, get started on a stimulant, and you'll be golden.
Nope.
So there's a lot that needs to go into this. We got to understand why this is. So we have to understand, how does a medication, how do we determine that a medication is effective for an illness? So what is the most hallmark feature of ADHD that leads to diagnosis
but it doesn't
in
fully
boys?
Go away.
Hyperactivity, right? The kid won't fucking sit still. And so when I'm a drug company and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to make a medication and I want people to be on it for their whole fucking lives. What am I going to do? I'm going to treat the thing, focus on the symptom that causes problems for teachers and problems for parents, right? Like, makes sense. What are drug companies in the business of? Making the world a better place. And I don't say that facetiously. They're like, we're here to try to solve problems.
They're
scammers. It's not an evil drug company, okay? But we got to think about this. So they came up with stimulants. And what are stimulants really good at? Reducing hyperactivity, right? So you start the kid on a stimulant, They sit in their chair and they pay attention. They finish their food. They're able to read.
Whoa.
Hallelujah, this has fixed the problem. Except, remember, girls don't experience a whole lot of hyperactivity.
Yeah.
They have attentional problems. And the
It's
medications
me.
help with that some too. We're not saying medication isn't effective. So the context of this is stimulant treatment for ADHD
It's
symptoms
me,
in women.
guys.
Okay. A large variation has been reported in response to treatment with efficacy ranging from 25% to 78%, which is much different than the fairly consistently reported 70% range of response rate in children. When we look at medication and we think about what is the expected gain, right? How much better are things going to be? When we look at these trials in children, we see, okay, things are going to get 70% better. Parents are like, hallelujah.
No.
Teachers are like, thank God. But when it turns to ADHD treatment in women, the range is 25 to 78%. Doesn't work for all women. It
Yeah.
isn't like what it is for boys.
Yeah.
And there are contrary studies that show that it's effective in women. So I'm not saying that it isn't effective. But the key thing to understand is that medication is very good at hyperactivity. Boys tend to have more hyperactivity. Stimulants have been sort of very effectively used in men, but stimulants alone seem to be, in some cases, insufficient for women. This is very important to understand because even the standard, psychiatric institutional juggernaut is going to try to prescribe you stimulants, which I'm not saying it isn't effective. We see that the range is 25 to 78%. It may not be as effective, and you probably need some other kind of support as well.
Yep.
I don't know that a stimulant is going to help you with an abusive partner, right?
Nah.
Like it's not going to fix that.
I
And
don't have
the
that,
whole point
guys.
is that if we look at the challenges that
Fits
women
love
with
me.
ADHD face, they aren't as simple as things that can be solved by a stimulant. Their organizational difficulties, their expectations, their judgment, their low self-esteem. There are things like intimate partner violence, more likely to be divorced. All these kinds of challenges a stimulant cannot fix. We're not saying that it isn't effective, and studies show that it can be even up to 78% effective. But it depends on the person. So what's the point of this video? I mean, I was looking at this, and to be perfectly honest with y'all, it's taken me months to make this video. And the reason it took me months to make this video is I wanted to end it by saying, hey, ladies,
Make babies.
if you're out there, just do A, B, and C, and we'll be able to help. Every time I try to prepare some kind of lecture, I try to leave y'all with something that says, do this thing and it will improve your life. The challenge that I faced with this video and why it took so long is I did research, and I worked with so many women with ADHD. There is no simple answer. I wish I
There
could say,
isn't.
take this supplement and your life will be better. I wish I
No.
could say, just do this thing before you go to bed and your
No.
life will be better. So
No.
the purpose of this video, then why did I end up making it? Because I wasn't even sure I wanted to make it because I don't have an answer for y'all. The reason I made it is because y'all need to know this. The whole world needs
Tell
to
me.
know this. Right? You need to understand that, first of all, just because you made it to puberty without being kicked out of class and getting straight A's does not mean that you don't have ADHD, right? So the first
True.
thing to be super aware of is that if you are an adult woman who is struggling today, and this fits the bill where you have difficulty with relationships, you're basically like a bad woman. You're not organized like the
Okay.
other women.
I'm
You
not-
get super
I'm not that bad,
emotional. You have
guys.
separation anxiety. You can't maintain friendships.
I'm in therapy.
All this kind of stuff. You have a lot of these internalizing symptoms. You just think you're an airhead or spacey, or people have judged you harshly. If you're a single mom, there's a good chance that you've got ADHD. So the first thing is get support, right? So we don't want to misdiagnose. Or we don't want to miss the diagnosis. So that's the first reason. Is
I
if this
invented
kind of
ADHD?
tracks for y'all and y'all
Idiot.
don't have a diagnosis, by all means get evaluated. Second thing, if you do have a diagnosis, recognize that the majority of the literature on ADHD does not focus on gender-specific issues. That your
Yeah.
providers may not be aware of some of these things. If they're good
Yeah.
providers, they picked it up, right? But it's not like I had a lecture on ADHD-specific issues for women when I was training in residency. We had gender-related issues, we had ADHD-related issues, but we don't tend to combine the two. And so as a woman, be aware that this disorder will affect every dimension of your life, and many of the dimensions that we don't think of. We think of school, we think of work, we don't think about home, we don't think about birthday parties, we don't think about divorce, we don't think about parenting. But it absolutely affects those things. Another thing is, unfortunately, you're going to be judged a lot. I wish it was different.
Yeah.
And this is where we get to the actual treatment, right? So there's a lot of stuff here that needs
I've
to be done.
accepted this
So
life.
by all means, see a professional. But what we also know is that combined treatment is very important. So it's not it's not sufficient to just get a stimulant. Maybe you're one of the lucky ones and that does it for you.
No.
Fine. But chances are one of the other things that you need to work on in therapy is the consequences of being a woman with ADHD and all of the harsh judgment, because y'all internalize all of that shame. That happens in men too. Everyone with ADHD internalizes that shame, and then you carry it with you. This manifests as things like depression, it manifests things like anxiety, it manifests as things like lack of confidence. So that must be addressed. And the last thing, which I want all y'all to hear from the bottom of my heart as a dad of a daughter who may have ADHD, is that you're awesome, right? This is not your fault. You are not a bad woman. You're not a bad parent.
You hear that, Miwa?
Sure, you struggle, and sure, there are many outcomes that are not going your way.
I mean, you're
and
a
I
baddie.
totally get this, including things like abusive partners. Like, that's crazy,
but
right?
You're perfect,
Your life has been
Miwa.
very, very difficult because this thing has been impairing it. We don't really consider or accommodate for the fact that your neurodiverse brain
thank you so
has
much for the
difficulty
follow.
fulfilling the duties of a woman, the expectations of a woman. And I have faith that y'all can get there, right? It's going to be your own journey. You're going to have to walk it. We're going to do our best to help you. We're not done with this topic, by the way, right? So we're just getting started. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. And so have a little bit more faith in yourself if you can. Be a little bit more forgiving of yourself, and try to get the support that you need. That's what my therapist tells me to tell myself. Because there are studies that show that combined treatment is effective. Women do get better. I've seen this myself in my clinical practice, where we've helped them sort of, start on stimulant medication, because that's what I did at the time. And then we help them build the things that are necessary, repair their self-esteem, learn how to set limits, be more selective with partners, prepare things a little bit better, and then their lives can absolutely turn around. And if you're a woman struggling with ADHD, yours can too. We do have a guide to ADHD and doing stuff. There's a lot of practical stuff in there, but that stuff is not gender specific. It does not address many of the issues that we talked about in this video, but I still encourage y'all to check it out, because it'll help with things like organization, planning, motivation. These core features of ADHD that everyone struggles with are addressed there. Yeah. And chances are you're going to need all the help that you can get. So ladies with ADHD, I'm so sorry that your experience has probably been incredibly harsh, and I hope things that will get better. And we here at the HG community are here to support you.
He understands me for real, for real. He gets me. He gets how hard it is. Oh, pain. He was pretty spot on with this whole video. I am actually on stimulants. I'm on extended release Adderall for my ADHD. And I will say, it helps with certain things, but it doesn't really, quote, fix the problem. It helps a bit, but for sure it's, it ain't perfect. It's awful. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just try a different ADHD meds. Maybe. Possibly. Oh, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Literally my whole life, I got yelled at by my parents because they were like, oh, you're so messy. And I remember like my dad telling me that I needed to be like a proper woman. It's not very like woman-like of me that I'm so like disorganized and like messy. He's like, how can you find anything in all of this? And he's like, you should clean more like your mom. Like, it's, you got to clean like this. And it's like, I always tried, right? But they would always tell me that it just wasn't good enough, or I should do it like this and that. And I remember I would come home some days and they would completely like clean my room or just any of my spaces, right? They would clean it, and I would get so frustrated because I'm pretty sure a lot of other people with ADHD are like this too. Your space is your own space. Despite how messy it is, you know where things are possibly because it's your mess. It's your stuff. So every time they would clean and organize my spaces or anything, I couldn't find anything that I needed. Like the stuff that I usually use, or like just things that I used in a day-to-day basis, and it frustrated me. And I would always tell them like, please, I will clean the way I clean, and they would never ever listen to me. So they would always tell me that I was just horrible and that I was just always just disorganized. I'm like, bro, I can't believe my whole life it's because of ADHD. And I remember when I got diagnosed as an adult and I came out and told my parents, I remember my mom straight up trying to convince me that I didn't have ADHD. I'm like, bro, what? Because I told her I was also taking medication. And then she was trying to tell me I don't need that stuff. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You're not the one taking the medication. And it's that stereotypical like Asian family or Asian like parenting thing where they compare you to like your cousin. Cause I have another cousin that got diagnosed with ADHD and she was like, "Oh, he doesn't take his ADHD meds anymore. That means you don't need to." And I'm like, "What? That's crazy." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, I'm openly telling you I had these issues this whole time, and I'm happy to share like what the answer has been this whole fucking time, and you're trying to tell me I don't have it? That's wild, mom. I think till this day they sometimes question my medication. They're just like, "Do you really need to take that?" And I'm like, "Yes." "Do you want my life to fall apart?" "Do you want me to be absolutely nothing?" Do you want me to not exist in this world? Is that the impression? It is so dumb, but it'd be like that sometimes with families. They be in disbelief. I'm like, bro, what? What? And the more I think about it, I genuinely think both of my parents have ADHD. Will you be watching the last video before you end? Uh, let's see. That one is like 36 minutes. I think this is probably the last one we're watching that we will watch tonight because I'm hungry. I need to go eat dinner. I know I took my meds like what 30 something minutes ago. I'm stretching, but I'm gonna force you to take a break. No, that'll be the last. This will be the last one. You know what's even worse about being a woman? Sorry, yawning. And then taking ADHD meds. So when you're PMSing, the meds aren't as effective. They almost feel like nothing's happening, like you didn't take your meds. And you want to know why? You want to know the answer as to why that's a thing for women? Hormones. Because the hormones. That's right, hormones. It fucking sucks. This applies to my ADHD meds. This applies to my anxiety meds. They just feel less efficient. It is the absolute worst. I'm like, wow, what's the point? I suffer. And you know what's even worse about PMS? There's like an even greater PMS out there. It's called PMDD. And it's just imagine PMS, but times two. I'm someone that falls under that category where I have an extended period of PMS. So even before I start bleeding, I already have PMS. So technically, I have PMS for like 2 weeks, man. Yeah, life's hard. It's hard being a woman. It's very hard being a woman. Uh huh. And you want to know the worst part? In the end, when women get old, menopause, and menopause isn't taken as seriously as it should be because most women actually turn depressed when they go through menopause. You want to know why? Because hormones. Hormones is the cause for a lot of women suffering. Can you believe that? It's crazy. I'm just like, welp, I'm gonna be depressed. I'm like, I am ready to be depressed in the future too. Oh, I'm so ready for this shit. Oh, oh. Da da da. If you do watch, oh, I already read that. Time to rate someone? Y'all, I have to say goodbye to chat. Excuse me. No!
Nair0p gifted a tier 1 sub to healthygamer_GG.
Don't
They have
perceive!
given 25 gift subs in the
Nair,
channel.
I hate Nair. Nair! Hello. If you ever see this, just know I love your content. Dr. K, I fucking hate my mod right now, but like, hi. If you see this, just know I love your content. Fucking Nair. Nair, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Dr. K. I forgot this man has a whole Twitch. I'm used to watching on YouTube. I swear to God, if this man ever pops into my chat, I'm going to scream. I'm going to absolutely scream. I'm going to fucking scream. Be like, hey, what's up? Do you want to do study? Would you like to... Can I participate in one of your studies, please? I am a woman with inattentive ADHD, diagnosed as an adult. Please put me in your put me as part of one of the experiments, I guess. I think my dad has menopause. Oh no, talks a lot and emotional. I think he's just depressed. I think that's just depression. I think your dad's just sad, bro. He might be a little lonely. Menopause. Don't fucking laugh at menopause. Come on, Vince. Dude, I swear to God, sometimes what Vince reacts to sometimes, it gets me. I'm like, bro, why do you react to shit like this? He's laughing at menopause. Your dad may be in need of a hug. Oh, absolutely. Did you know men are more likely to become lonely and depressed the older they get? Yeah. More than likely, your dad might need a hug. Your dad might be just a little lonely whether he realizes or not. I laughed because it was clever. It was clever. Dad needs more babies? No. Selective listening. There's no proper word, so... Andropause, technically called, but what is andropause? What the fuck is andropause? Andropause. Dude, seeing this text, I was trying to like read it for myself, but it hurts my eyes. Can I play some music? I'm gonna stay on Dr. K's like video stuff here because I don't want to switch to the other overlay. I think it's gonna hurt my eyes. I genuinely think it'll hurt my eyes. Okay, let's see. Also, thank you again, Nair, for gifting a sub to Dr. K. I swear to God. Should I make chat bigger? Here, chat. You guys can have some special attention. Here, look. You guys are big. Wah, wah. Let's see. Can I have an outline on me? There we go, so I can pop out more. Ha ha ha. Big chat. Yeah, you guys get a little bit of attention. So what did we learn today, chat? What was the takeaway from today's stream? What is something that you learned? Meowy's fucked. What the fuck? I mean, you're not wrong. I've accepted this. Women have it hard. I'm still depressed. Mirai! Me too, bestie. High five! You know, the meds help, though. I learned that M Squad girl bullies me. Okay. See, you're just making shit up. Meowy almost died to mozzarella. That's not what we're supposed to take away from the videos, Nair. Stats are insane. Absolutely. Listen to people's feelings. That is one of the biggest takeaways for sure. Everyone's feelings matter. Women have it hard. And there needs to be more dedicated research into mental health care tailored to women. Yes, that is actually true. People suck. True. That is also very true. Minnie is such a bully. Where the fuck did you like? What? I love Minnie. Leave her alone. Meowie cried when she lost her parents for 2 minutes. Yup. Shit was wild. Meowie laughs at her past experience, especially when she cried while lost in Toys R Us. Come on, man. I think the story's funny. Make babies? No! No make babies. Only make babies when you're ready. Join Neko family? Oh, right! Thank you guys for being here during the Neko. Or not the Neko. The Fluffy Town stream yesterday. Please join the fucking family guild. If you join the game, bro. Please. Some people got to join the guild. You guys have to join. Please download Cats. I got you. Cats and Soup Fluffy Town. It's a mobile game. It's a cat gacha game. Think of it like Cats Farmville. That's what everyone was telling me. Join it! I want to have a sweaty guild. So when we compete in the contest, the contest that happens every couple of days, we get good rewards. Por favor, pretty please, onegai shimasu. There are competitions? Yeah, you compete with the other family guilds. And you get rewards. You get better rewards the more competitive you are, basically. Fluffy Town is not available in my country yet. I don't know if it's possible, but do you have BlueStacks on your PC or like your laptop or anything? Cause you can play it on BlueStacks on your computer. That's only if it's possible. Oh, thank you for the hydration. Let's see. Thank you for the hydration, Ryuten. Let me drink water. Just because Miwa came in here just to say she loved me and to take care of myself, we're gonna go. I wanna go raid Miwa. I love Miwa. We're gonna shower Miwa with love. Cat soup shop closes in 10 minutes. Oh fuck, hold on. I'm gonna freeze my model so I could check cat soup. Everyone shut up. Hold on. Wait. I'm opening cat soup. I swear I'm still here. Why is my game so fucking loud? I want to look at the shop. Oh my god, there's a bird pet. It's the bird pet that Vince has. No, I'll skip out on it. I want it so bad though. It's so cute. Okay, hold on. Let me make my model work. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Sorry about that. I love cats and soup. Jed, thank you so much for wasting your points on absolutely nothing. You dirty little vodka. Idiot. And thank you for checking in. Let me talk about next week's streams. I thought I might have another Discord watch along for like Kingdom Hearts stuff. I actually don't know how long the watch along stuff is gonna be because everyone's like, yeah, watch blah 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 so you can know who Nominee is. I just want to know. What's the bird's name? It doesn't have a name. In the Discord, I literally named that emote like I think I named it cock. I don't fucking know. It's supposed to be a bird. It's just a bird, bro. There's no name for it. I took my meds. I did. I took my meds. Oh yeah, there's also gonna be a Glitch Stars collab this upcoming week. It's gonna be on Miwa's channel. Da, 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 da. Yippee! Yeah. I need to figure out the Kingdom Hearts stuff. I wanted to have like I was gonna plan a Halloween themed stream next week, but I might do it closer to actual Halloween. I wanted to have like a background and stuff ready and then whatnot. It seems more appropriate to do it when I come back from like my Disneyland trip, honestly, because it's closer to Halloween. Showering Miwa with love. Ew, wait, who made that message? Did Loggy make that? Oh no, my mod made that. Okay, it's fine. If Loggy made that, I wasn't gonna use it. Revere, thank you for making the raid message. Yeah, this is for people that have a sub, and then this is for people that do not have a sub. We're gonna go raid Miwa Bell, aka the other virus girly of Glitch Stars. Miwa Bell. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm sorry I switched it from Octopath to watching mental health videos. It was on a very impulsive whim. I saw my podcast I like listening to update and I was like, Dr. K's on it. And then I looked at his content. I was like, I want to watch these videos with chat today. So thank you guys for coming out and watching the videos with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the raids I got today too. You guys are so sweet. Thank you, thank you. Say goodnight. Good night, Nerma. Good night, Arkema. Good night, Revere Mod. Good night, Jet. Good night, Greeting. Good night, Loggy. Speak now. Good night, Zanes. Good night, Mirai. Good night, Churro. Good night, Adric. Good night, Dust Cloud. Speak now. Speak, speak. Good night, Lewis. Good night, Sunny. I appreciate you guys learning so much and getting triggered with me tonight. Good night, Senpai. Good night, good night. I love spending time with chat and talking about IRL issues. I'll post my schedule tomorrow. I'll see you guys next week. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, love you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye. Mwah, 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 mwah.